brand new Safeco Field. It was a milestone night for Tino Martinez as he cracked his 200th career homer. Bernie Williams also had a big night as he frustrated Junior. The Yankees also showed off their flashy defense by turning an eye-popping double play. And Bernie showed his speed in center. It all added up to a win in their first night at Safeco Field. And Tino and his old buddy Junior do battle again tonight. Welcome to New York Yankees baseball on Fox 5. Tonight, the New York Yankees take on the Seattle Mariners. It's game 2 of this exciting 4-game series. And taking the mound for the Yankees, El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, and he will face off against the left-hander, Jeff Fazzaro, a record of 4-12. Once again, an expected capacity crowd here at this brand new ballpark in Seattle, Washington. They call it Safeco Field. So the fans are filing in for this second game. Hello, everybody. I'm Bobby Mercer. Tonight, Ken Singleton joins us. Tim McCarver is on assignment. He'll be back with us on Sunday afternoon. Well, the Yankees got it started off right last night with the win, their first time ever here at Safeco Field. But a tense moment in the 7th inning when Derek Jeter got plunked by a pitch.
Anytime Derek Jeter gets hit, you know the Yankees are going to be concerned. And last night, maybe a little bit more concerned because Derek Jeter's not in the lineup tonight. Jose Paniagua hit him with the pitch. Now, we know Jeter's having a great year. But did you know that he's in the top 10 in the league in being hit by pitches? That was the 10th time he's been hit by a pitch this year.
Okay, the Yankees think Derek Jeter will be all right, and even though he's not in the lineup tonight, Tino Martinez is not in the lineup tonight, but he certainly was in the Yankee lineup last night. Historic night for him, number 200, finally out of the way.
Well, he's been waiting 23 games to get that 200th home run. And did you know he's only hit 1 homer against a lefty this year? Well, he got Jamie Moyer early in the ball game. Jay Buhner with a good effort. That's number 200. Maybe the floodgates are open now for Tino. Later on in the ball game in the 6th inning, this 2-run homer gave the Yankees a lead that they would not give up as they went on to win the ball game by a score of 7-4. A big night for Tino Martinez.
And a big night. His first home run came back in 1991. He has number 200 and number 201 in the books in his career. El Duque goes for the Yankees tonight in the second game of this 4th-game series. He had a 5-game winning streak on the line when he faced the Boston Red Sox last Sunday. It was just not to be for El Duque.
It certainly wasn't. The long ball kind of did him in. August 1st was a date at Fenway Park, and El Duque threw some pitches maybe he would want back. This is the Brian Daubach, a hanging curveball well over 400 feet to right field at Fenway Park. The Red Sox were coming back in the ball game at that particular time. That wasn't the last home run El Duque would give up. Troy O'Leary's having a great year for the Red Sox. He leads the team in home runs. This was his 20th of the season as the Red Sox went on to win the game 5-4. And as Bobby said, El Duque had a pretty good streak broken because of the long ball.
Well, Safeco Field's a pretty good place to pitch in, and you see his line from last Sunday, previous 2 starts, 2-0, 2.57. But look at that average for right-handers. That's the reason Lou Piniella is stacking his lineup with left-handed batters against El Duque tonight. Second game of this 4-game series coming up here at Safeco Field. We'll have the starting lineups for you when we come back. New York Yankees baseball on Fox 5 is brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealer. Toyota every day. And by Red, now your business can enjoy the same internet speed of a big business with Red high-speed digital connectivity. Call 1-888-RED-2000 today. By the small business team at Chase, experts offering a greater range of small business solutions. And by Ford Cars and Trucks built for the way you live at your Tri-State Quality Ford store. Hello, everybody. Bobby Mercer along with Ken Singleton tonight. And second game of this 4-game series. Tino Martinez will take tonight off against Jeff Fazzaro, along with Derek Jeter, who was plunked in the 7th inning last night. Got a pretty good contusion on his wrist. so he is not in the lineup tonight. Joe Torre giving him some rest. Another capacity crowd expected here at Safeco Field. The Thumans lineup for the New York Yankees. Chuck Knobloch, followed by Joe Girardi, who moves up into second spot tonight. Paul O'Neill bats third. Bernie Williams in that familiar fourth spot. Jimmy Leyritz gets to start at first base. Shane Spencer, the designated hitter. Scott Brocious, Chad Curtis, and then Luis Sojo at short.
In the field for the Mariners tonight, it's going to be Mabry, Rodriguez, Bell, and Ibanez in the infield. Hunter Griffey and Buhner in the outfield. Dan Wilson will do the catching for Jeff Fassero. We have Junior Griffey highlighted in center field. He's won 9 straight Gold Gloves, but he's getting used to this ballpark like everybody else. One problem he had was his son the other day in a game against the Orioles. He lost 2 fly balls in the sun, and he also has said that the grass is too long in the outfield. He has trouble running out there.
Well, it always has a little tweaking to do when you move into a new ballpark. Jeff Fassero has some tweaking to do this year. You can see his record: 4 wins versus 12 losses and a big earned run average. So he will try to put it together again, or at least tonight, against the New York Yankees, and he will face Chuck Knobloch to lead it off here in the first inning. Knobloch has been absolutely spectacular at strike one to Knobloch. Knobloch walked last night leading off in the first game of this series. Came around to score. His average .289, 9 home runs, and 40 runs. Batted in now. Good off-speed pitch by Fassero. Now it's 0-2 the count on Knobloch.
Last 10 days, that's 8-game period for Chuck Knobloch. .457. You can see 7 runs batted in. He's been, as you said, Bobby, red hot.
3 for 4 last night. Scored 3 runs for the Yankees. Sends this one high and fairly deep in the left field. Not deep enough, though. That's Brian Hunter. He puts it away. 1 gone.
The Chase scouting report for Jeff Fassero, who is not having a good year. He has a good splitter, falls behind on the count a lot, and he's coming off postseason surgery. He also leads the league in giving up home runs and hits, and he's only won 4 games, 4-12. He was supposed to lead this staff in the absence of Randy Johnson.
And the Mariners looking for that #1 starter. Joe Girardi fouls the first pitch back and out of play. .232 average for Girardi. 1 home run. He hit that in his last start just the other day. And he ran around the bases. Didn't have to work on that home run trot.
This is the first time this year that Girardi has batted second. Of course, Jeter's been in the second spot most of the time for the Yankees. But I think Joe Torre is trying to make use of his ability to make contact.
Well, Joe is excellent at hitting behind the runner. He's excellent at hit and running. He could bunt, and he can also run for a catcher. So he's got some speed.
So Joe is shaking up the lineup quite a bit tonight. Tino Martinez out. Jim Leyritz is in there.
That foul back and out of play. I think it's just one of those situations where Joe Torre says, well, you know, I'm going to give Derek Jeter a night off, and Tino Martinez hit 2 home runs last night. I'm going to give him a night off. Let's just give Chili Davis a night off and give a lot of our guys who haven't had a chance to play some playing time.
Well, some of those have to do with the numbers. Tino Martinez not very good numbers against Jeff Fassero over the years.
Inside and low. The appeal is denied. And it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
That was Doug Eddings, the first base umpire. Bobby, this is a very young crew. This might be the umpires of the future that we're looking at tonight. There's Doug Eddings at first. Gary Cederstrom, the home plate umpire, has the most experience. 3 years.
Well, we know what is happening as far as umpiring is concerned around Major League Baseball. That inside for a ball. Now it's a 3-2 count on Girardi as we take a look at the crew tonight. Gary Cederstrom behind home plate. Eric Cooper at third. Ted Barrett at second. And Doug Eddings, the gentleman we just saw a moment ago. Tapper left side. Mabry at third. The throw out Girardi. You can see that Girardi runs well for a catcher. Nice play by Mabry in place of Davis at third base tonight.
Well, John Mabry has something in common with the Yankee manager Joe Torre. They were both switched positions during their career. Mabry had been an outfielder, And George Kissel, longtime Cardinal coach, taught Mabry how to play third base, and he did the same thing for Joe Torre when Joe Torre made the switch from catching to third base. And Joe was telling me some of the drills that Kissel had them do, unbelievable. He would stand behind him up against a brick wall and throw a ball, and so you wouldn't know which way the ball was going. You had to react to it. That's how you learn to have the quick hands at third base.
Being the reaction corner, I could see where that would really help. Paul O'Neill takes a tall strike. 2 men out here at the top of the first for New York. Mabry spending his last 3 seasons with the St. Louis Cardinals, signing on with this Mariner ball club. Getting lots of playing time, not only at third base, but at first base. That's David Segui is gone. That's down low for a ball. Now it's 1-1 on Paul O'Neill. O'Neill's average at .293. 12 home runs and 68 runs batted in.
There's a look at Mabry at third, and George Kissel, one of the long-time coaches in the minors.
Outside corner for a call strike. Now it's 1-2 for Paul.
And while Joe Torre was managing the Cardinals, he had George Kissel come up and stay with the big club for about a whole month, just to give him a taste of the big leagues. He'd spent so many years in the minor leagues. Joe Torre said, well, this guy helped me. He's helped others. Let's give him a shot at what big league life is like.
A lot of guys don't like that. They like being down in the minors, working with young people. Boy, he worked this one. If it stays fair, it is gone, and it is gone. A 2-out home run by Paul O'Neill, and the Yankees will take a 1-0 lead. We talked about Pissarro and the long ball that he gives up. He had given up 30 before that one there. Now make it 31.
Well, the fans in right field, I don't want a Yankee souvenir. They've thrown it back. Paul O'Neill's 13th home run of the year. And Bobby, you mentioned Jeff Pissarro has had all kinds of problems with the long ball. And usually he's a ground ball pitcher. He has a good splitter, good slider, tight slider, low and in. But on the scouting report, we mentioned he's coming off surgery on the elbow, and he just doesn't quite have the power this year. His fastball, which usually is 92, 93, this year at best has hit 90.
The only left-hander in the lineup for Joe Torre tonight, and he takes Pissarro deep as Bernie Williams steps in.
Here's another look at it. You can see how quick Paul was on that pitch on the inner corner. Turns on it, and they say the ball really carries down the lines here. When you get out towards center field, right center and left center, ball doesn't really travel that well. But down the lines, hitters used to call it the shortest route to paradise.
We saw a couple of home runs last night in right center field. Tonight, the roof is also closed as it was last night. It was open during batting practice. We had a slight drizzle, so they decided to close the roof up, and so we're playing indoors, sort of. It's a dome stadium, but you have that fresh air attitude when you're inside because it is not totally enclosed.
Certainly a lot different than the Kingdome, the atmosphere here.
Bernie with 8 RBIs in the last 2 games. Well hit deep to left center field. Junior will go back, and he'll look up, and it's gone. Back-to-back home runs. Paul O'Neill and Bernie Williams, and the Yankees lead it 2-0. Bernie with his 18th home run on the year.
Now pitching coach Stan Williams looks on. Bernie had 4 hits here last night. Needed a home run for the cycle. He missed by 1 night, 1 at bat. And he has been swinging a red hot bat. That's his 18th of the year. And Jeff Pissarro, the years that I saw him in Montreal, he did not give up many home runs.
Jimmy Leyritz takes a big cut. Wow.
I might have to take back what I said about the ball not carrying the center and left center.
Well, even last night we saw a couple of home runs that were hit out towards that 385 sign, and I'd heard what you were talking about, the ball carrying down both lines, but not so much in the gaps.
Well, Bernie certainly got all of it.
But on the other hand, when you hit it, most of the time they will go out of any ballpark.
Let's check the location. The target's for the outer half, and this is up and in the middle, about belt high. Junior Griffey's going to be the last one to see it alive. This one is gone.
That's the deepest part of this ballpark. And the slider down and in. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes down to Leyritz. And quickly the Yankees with the long ball. They used the long ball last night. They had that 2-0 lead here in the first inning. Now the base hit. That's Jimmy Leyritz. Solid hit into center field. Leyritz will take a big turn at first. So the Yankees seem to have gotten mad after Pizarro got him out. The first 2 men.
It looked like he was going to have an easy inning, and all of a sudden 3 hits later, including 2 home runs, and Stan Williams is coming out for that talk, and it's more or less to give him a breather. Lou Piniella, the Mariners have used 25 pitchers this year, including 12 different starters. And that was a problem more or less over in the Kingdom, where, you know, home runs just fly out of there. But now in this ballpark, they're giving up about 2 runs less per game. And the Mariners do have a winning record at Safeco Field. So what they're looking at here is maybe some better pitching with the fences being deeper. But if you're going to throw pitches in the middle of the plate, you can be playing at Yellowstone Park. They're going to go out.
Yeah, considering that the rosters will expand to 40 men in the month of September, they could shatter that all-time record. Now the conversation is over with. Another look at this solid hit by Leyritz.
Yeah, again, you saw the target down low from Dan Wilson, and the pitch up a little bit too high. Maybe about thigh high out over the plate for Jim Leyritz, and he rocked it into center field.
Dan Wilson behind the plate. This is Shane Spencer. Everybody having a pretty good hack at Pizarro right now. Spencer, the designated hitter this evening.
Chili Davis gets a night off.
Shane has yet to really find that stroke that he had before he went on the disabled list. That's hit hard. Look at Mabry at third. It'll take a long throw and a strong throw. It won't happen. The ball gets away, goes towards the Mariner dugout. So Banez, who couldn't hold on to it, that will allow Leyritz to move to third. Spencer, we'll see how they rule it.
Now, I believe that's going to be a hit for Shane Spencer, and then an error on the throw that allowed Jim Leyritz to go from second to third. There's a good stop, maybe stopping a double, but there's 2 parts to the play on the infield: the stop and then the throw. Throws in the dirt. Obanez, you know, maybe not an experienced first base. Remember, they just sent David Segui to Toronto in a trade. David Segui, one of the better fielding first basemen in baseball, maybe would have had a better shot at that. Instead, the Yankees now have runners on the corners.
And it will be scored, a hit and an error, just as Ken said. And this will be Scott Brocious batting 7th in the lineup tonight. Brocious only 1 for 2. Check that, 1 for 12 versus Pizarro, but that one hit was a home run. Scott also only 1 for his last 14. Just missing down low. The Yankees really come out banging here at the top of the first inning. 2 balls and no strikes to Brocious.
You know, what you've seen in the past from Jeff Pizarro is a pitcher who has the ability to strike people out. Good fastball, good slider down and in, excellent splitter. He had 3 pitches he could strike you out with, and so far haven't seen any of that.
Could not hold up, so now it's 2 balls and a strike. Stan Williams, the pitching coach, former Yankee pitching coach, says that Pizarro squeezing the ball too tight. He was locking his wrist and pressing too much.
Free agent season.
You talk to all the pitching coaches and pitchers, you know how important it is to have the loose wrist, and you know how important it is in order to make your pitches work is the pressure points that you put on those seams. And Sweet Lou is not liking what he sees here in the top of the first. Pitching has been the problem of the Mariners over about the last 6 or 7 seasons. Well hit deep to center field. Going back is Griffey, and this one is gone. A 3-run home run by Scott Brocious. The 3rd home run here in the top of the first inning after the Yankees made a quick 2 outs, and the Yankees 5-0 over the Mariners.
Well, if there's any solace for the Mariners, Those would have been home runs across the street, too, and even easier. Wow, the Yankees just open up the floodgates with 2 outs and nobody on. And just like that, it is 5-0.
Alongside Stan Williams is Jamie Moyer. He was the loser last night. Wow.
Up and out over the plate. Brocious, a good high ball hitter. And he knows he got pretty good wood on it. And Junior, for the second time this inning, back to the fence and watches the ball disappear into the seats.
Pizarro acts like that he can't believe the ball is flying out of here, such as it has here in the first inning. He better believe it, because it has certainly done it, as Chad Curtis steps in, the 8th hitter in the lineup, and the 8th hitter in this inning.
Now, Bobby, supposedly when the roof is open, the ball does not carry as well. Now, the roof is closed for the second consecutive night, and maybe that cuts down on the wind currents or whatever, but the ball is flying, that's for sure.
1-1 count now to Curtis. Tino Martinez had 2 home runs for the Yankees last night. Down low and outside. It's ball 3-1 now to Curtis. 2 outs for the Yankees here at the top of the first inning. And Pinella, you can see the frustration on his face as he sends Stan Williams to the phone. Down low, ball 4. So Curtis walks.
Fans are getting a little impatient here. A full house, they thought they would see a lot better, but that hasn't been the case.
It looks like Tom Davey, the big tall right-hander, they got for David Segui. And of course Wilson out to kill a little bit of time to give Davey some more time to warm up.
Yankees, they just made an announcement, Bobby, that this is the first time that the Yankees hit 3 home runs in a game. Remember the game in Oakland last year when they hit 3 home runs in the 9th inning? And it was Darryl Strawberry hit a grand slam to cap it all off. And that's the first time they've hit 3 home runs in an inning since then.
Soho bats 9th in the lineup, so the Yankees bat around here in the top of the first. Yankees stunning this to capacity crowd here at Safeco Field. Back up the middle, and it won't be gloved by anybody. Curtis will round second. He'll go to third. And the Yankees batting around here in the first inning. They lead it 5-0. And Luis Sojo continues to hit. Now Sojo, he hasn't played that much in the last week or so, but he's 7 for his last 11.
I was talking to Louis at Yankee Stadium. I told him he's like a fireman. When he hears the bell ring, he just comes right out and he's ready to go.
Yankees now have batted around for the 23rd time here in 1999. So Chuck Knobloch, who made the first out in this inning, gets up again. Low and outside, ball 1. Knobloch flied out to left field.
Everything has happened with 2 outs, and I talked to Chuck before the game. He's really been swinging the bat well, as you mentioned, Bobby. I thought I'd noticed that he had closed his stance a little bit, and that front foot and front shoulder kind of turned a little bit more towards the pitcher. And he confirmed that. He says it makes him stay on the ball a little bit longer.
Well, Knobloch batted .330 in the month of July. And has he been playing some baseball for New York? Not only leading it off for the Yankees, but also at second base and making some great plays. Jeter and Knobloch last night made a heck of a double play. In there for a call strike. Now it's 1-2 on Knobloch. Frustration by Lou Piniella. You can see those reactions, thinking that maybe Pizarro had worked out his problems and this was going to be the turnaround game for him, and it's turned out to be worse than what they thought so far anyway. Well hit into left field. That's going to be caught by Brian Hunter. Brian Hunter had to make a heck of a play in order to end this inning as the Yankees send up 10 men here at the top of the first inning. Scott Brocious with a 3-run home run. O'Neill with a home run. Williams with a home run. 5-0 New York. If the fans here at Safeco Field came out for some fireworks, they got it from the Yankees in the top of the first inning. We'll see what happens here in the bottom of the first against El Duque as the Mariners come up. So let's take a look at the lineup brought to you by Thumans. Hernandez will be facing Brian Hunter, David Bell, Ken Griffey Jr., Rodriguez Martinez, Buhner, Ibanez, Mabry, and then Wilson.
In the field for the Yankees tonight, it's going to be Brocious, Soho, Knobloch, and Leyritz. Curtis Williams, O'Neill in the outfield. Joe Girardi doing the catching for El Duque. And we highlighted Luis Soho. He's already 1 for 1. He just seems to be able to, what do you say, 7 for his last 11?
7 for his last 11. Well, El Duque's first pitch to Brian Hunter. High and tight. His record 12-7, 4.25 earned run average. A loss at his last outing, snapping that 5-game winning streak. But El Duque has won 7 of his last 9 decisions. And now he's fallen behind 2 balls and no strikes to Brian Hunter. Hunter really not your typical leadoff guy, but being patient there. Normally a free swinger. May have been such a long inning for El Duque. It's taken him a while to get tuned back into the strike zone. So what does he do? He just drops down as if he can't throw a strike sidearm. And it's 3-1.
You know, sometimes they give you extra warm-up pitches when you've been sitting in the dugout waiting for your half of the first.
And he's down again, but it's up 5. So a leadoff walk to Hunter. The Mariners lead the American League in home runs. The Yankees lead the American League in pitching. David Bell bats second in this lineup. We told you about El Duque's numbers versus right-handed hitters, as Bell's numbers pretty good for him. 194 they come in batting against El Duque. Breaking ball in there for a called strike.
The one thing Lou Piniella has done with this ball club, now that they've moved into Safeco Field with the larger dimensions, you'll see more diversion in the offense. They'll have a lot more stealing, hitting, and running. They just won't lay back for the homers.
Another breaking ball that misses down low and outside. El Duque working very fast to the first 2 hitters here at the bottom of the first. Yankees 5 and the Mariners nobody out here at the bottom of the first. Good speed at first base. I don't expect Brian Hunter to be doing much, being down 5-0, unless they just totally forget him over there.
Well, I think you still have to be somewhat aggressive, despite the fact that you're down 5-0. It's still early in the game. I mean, they still have 9 shots to break into the 5 runs.
Still early in the game, but I think more than not now you have to really concentrate on the strike zone, which Hernandez is having a problem finding.
I mean, if he does go, he better make it.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
It certainly wouldn't look good. You're right. He looked like he was going, and El Duque chases him back.
Yeah, think about Brian Hunter. He grew up in Vancouver, Washington. It was not, yeah, it looked like he was definitely going. But he might not have been the fastest person in his family. His sister, Stephanie, ran at international meets, and she was the big-time athlete in the family.
Opposite field, base hit for David Bell. So the first 2 men up for the Mariners here in the first. They are on base, and that will bring up Ken Griffey Jr., who leads the American League in home runs.
David Bell's been a nice fit for the Mariners since coming over here. Pitch up out over the plate, and he runs it right through the hole in the right field for the base hit. Well, these Mariners, as you said, Bobby, that they can score some runs. So you're going to have to do some pitching against them to get them out for sure.
And you certainly will have to do some pitching versus Jr. batting .308, 35 home runs, and 95 runs batted in. So nobody out for him, 2 men on. Jr. 1 for 4 last night with an RBI. Hits this one hard into right field. That will be past O'Neill. They will wave Hunter around third. He will come on to score. Bell will go to third, and it's 5-1 New York. Still nobody out for the Mariners.
Well, so far this has been an inning that both pitchers might want to forget. First of all, Pissarro giving up 5 runs on 6 hits. Mariners have scored a run on 2, and there's still nobody out here in the bottom of the first inning.
And when you take a look at this Mariner lineup, there's no relief in sight.
Griffey really goes down and gets a changeup that might have been out of the strike zone. Lines it by Paul O'Neill. In fact, he hit it so hard he held himself to a single as O'Neill gets the ball back in.
A-Rod will step in. That's Alex Rodriguez. Breaking ball down low. Ball 1 to Rodriguez. Rodriguez has only faced El Duque 3 times, so he's 0 for 3 and put up big numbers after coming off the disabled list in the month of May. Hit his 26th home run last night.
You figure he'd be among the league leaders if he hadn't missed 32 games after knee surgery, an injury in the offseason during some drills. He's put up some very respectable numbers in a short period of time.
Amazing what they can do. Jeter out tonight after being plunked on the hand last night. Inside and low. Now it's 2-1.
So far, El Duque's not been able to spot his fastball where he wants to. And he's been falling behind on the count. Then he has to come in and get too much of the plate. And that's why there have been 2 hits in this inning. 2 solid hits.
A lot of times I like to think of it as a horse race. When you break out of the gate, it just takes you a while to get in stride. Breaking ball swung on. Pretty good swing by Rodriguez. Now it's 2-2. Well, the Yankees broke out of the gate in the top of the first inning. And right now, the Mariners are coming back with their own base hits and runs, and who knows what's going to happen before this inning's over with. There goes Griffey. Swung on and popped up into center field. It's deep enough for Bell, so he will tag and come on to score. And it's 5-2 New York. Sacrifice fly for Rodriguez.
Looked like El Duque made a pretty good pitch on A-Rod, but he got enough wood on it to drive it to medium to deep center field. And he got the run scoring hit as Griffey Jr. stands over at first base. So they have cut into the Yankee lead here at the bottom of the first inning.
Big time. Edgar Martinez will try to cut into it a little bit more. Designated hitter. Edgar with 56 RBIs. You can't lose sight of Junior at first base. He has 19 stolen bases. He was off that with that pitch that Rodriguez popped up in the center field. El Duque not spotting the breaking pitch there. It misses outside. 1-0. Edgar Martinez 499 career RBIs as a designated hitter. Only 6 players have more than Edgar. And if the American League didn't have the designated hitter, I suspect that we probably wouldn't be seeing Edgar Martinez today.
Our Nissan batting leaders, highest career batting averages as designated hitter. You can see Edgar Martinez way out in front. Paul Molitor, the only other DH over 300 at 308. Bobby, you made an interesting point about Edgar Martinez. You probably wouldn't be seeing him wasn't a particularly good fielder. So the DH was made for him. And the fact is that with that 327 average, he has more than filled the bill for these Mariners.
Oh, he is a professional hitter by far. But his abilities beyond the hitting department would not allow him to play on an everyday basis as a position player. He played one game, I think, last year with the Mariners, or 2 years ago, at third base when they were needing some bodies out there. And I think on the first play, he broke his ankle.
Broke his ribs.
Broke his ribs.
Ran into the catcher on a pop fly.
Well, when you haven't been out there in a long time, you know, you don't know where to go a lot of times. Griffey takes off with the pitch. Hit on the ground, right side, base hit. Griffey will end up at third. So the Mariners still only have one out. Runners at first and third for Jay Buhner.
Well, one thing about Edgar Martinez, he can hit with 2 strikes. Uses the whole field. Here's a guy who's won 2 batting titles in the American League and won a title in the Pacific Coast League. But it took him until he was 27 years old to come up to the major leagues, and then he had to prove himself and become a regular. There's a base hit the right field with 2 outs. Griffey Jr. make that 1 out. Griffey Jr. on his way to third, where now he can score on a fly ball.
Well, we've already seen a trip by the Seattle Mariners to the mound. This is the Yankees' first trip. Mel Stottlemyre out to talk to El Duque. So Soho will come in and help Stottlemyre translate to El Duque. And here comes the train. This is our first train of the night. I'm not talking about Jay Buhner. I'm talking about the train just beyond right field, outside the stadium, where there's a switching yard out there. So if you hear that train whistle a few times during this game, you'll know that it's right here at Safeco Field. So Buhner steps in. Chance to add at least one more for the Mariners. 5-2, the Yankees lead it. And with one swing of the bat, you know what can happen off the bone.
Bobby, it should be interesting here tomorrow night. Look at that bruise on Jay Buhner's arm. Man, I think somebody got him good. Right on the tricep there. Tomorrow, Buhner's going to play first base for the first time.
Down low for a ball, 1-1. Yeah, and he's going to use an old glove by Dave Valley, former catcher. You're taking a look at that bruise.
Yeah, Doc, you can see Dr. Budick's signature right there.
Nice contusion there. You see a lot of those hitters, they'll wear a lot of that padding up and down that arm. There's a swing and a miss. El Duque throwing the pitches, the breaking balls way outside and getting Buhner to chase them.
Now he's not going to get, this is the second one he swung at. That breaking ball looks like it's going to be outside corner and then just dives out of the strike zone.
If he swings at 2, will he swing at 3? Not this time. A little bit too far outside. Now it's 2-2.
Sometimes El Duque will use a breaking ball like that to set up another one. And this one should be a little closer to the strike zone, but won't actually end up being a strike. Yeah.
Way outside. Nice stop by Girardi. Now it's a 3-2 count to Buhner.
El Duque using a lot of pitches, not as many as Fassero did in the top half of the first inning. But both of them are using up their allotment in a hurry.
Are they ever? A long first inning here at Safeco Field. The Yankees score 5. Mariners already have 2, and they're threatening for some more. A 5-4. The bases are loaded. And it looks like Mel Stottlemyre now will get on the phone and get somebody going, probably in the Yankee bullpen. Watson now takes the ball from Tony Cloninger, and he will begin to warm up for the Yankees. Lou Piniella had stacked his ball club tonight with as many left-handers as he could. One of those left-handers, Raul Ibanez, will bat with the bases loaded.
Now, Duque is not really a ground ball pitcher. He's more or less a fly ball pitcher, as are David Cone and Hideki Irabu. So it's kind of difficult for him to throw something up there that's going to sink, and you get a ground ball, get a chance to get a double play.
The only chance he has is to get those hitters way out in front as he changes speeds a lot, get them to hit the ball on the tip end of the bat. Right now, he needs to come up with a big pitch. And the breaking ball, you can see that he is really not sharp.
You know, this is very unusual for Orlando Hernandez, because his first inning batting average against is 132. That's the lowest in the American League. So tonight, with the Mariners putting up 2 runs on 3 hits, this is totally against what he's done in the past.
Coming into this game, opponents batting only .228 against him, and he has fallen behind now, 2 balls and no strikes.
Now, what he has done effectively is kind of let the Mariners right back in his game and shifted the momentum somewhat.
He certainly has shifted the attitude. No doubt the Mariners' Dauber way down as they came to bat here in this inning. Outside, ball 3. Up high, ball 4, and El Duque will walk in Ken Griffey.
This might be one of those last man standing ball games. Big time scoring on both sides. Plenty of action for fans who like to see runs scored. I mean, we've had 8 runs and 9 hits, and we're in the first inning. You know, Joe Girardi and El Duque do not work together very often. I think back to a game early this year when El Duque and Girardi worked together in Baltimore, and Luis Sojo, a lot of discrepancy on what should be called at one time, and Luis Sojo was more or less a peacemaker, as you have Jorge Posada on the bench tonight. He's his usual catcher.
Posada's got a wrap around his left hand as Joe Torre is on the way to the mound, and that's going to be all for El Duque. Now that is
he's not a happy man.
No, that's that is really devastating for El Duque, as fine a pitcher that he has been here in 1999, and the numbers that he has put up, and we told you about all those numbers, especially right-handed batters, opponents' batting averages, not walking many people, but he is gone with 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. 5-3 New York. We'll be back. Well, Fox 5 and the Toyota dealers are proud to present World Championship New York Yankee baseball, now available on the SAP channel of your television. Don't miss it. It is wild and woolly here at Safeco Field in the second game of a 4-game series. Another capacity crowd on hand. Can't go wrong with that.
You're talking about Woonsocket, Rhode Island?
Yeah, I'm talking about Jeter and Rodriguez. So we've got a pitching change. We had a pitching change. And this is the shortest outing for El Duque. His last short outing came when 3 2/3 innings was pitched against the Chicago White Sox way back on May the 13th. So Alan Watson gets a chance now to come in here with only 1 out. Bases are still loaded for the Mariners, and it's still 5-3 New York. You often wonder why somebody like El Duque loses a strike zone, somebody that has had command of the strike zone all of 1999. Possibly the long wait. I don't know.
Possibly the long wait. And, you know, I'm thinking back to the start against the Red Sox, or the start prior to that, when he said he had a sore tricep.
John Mabry pops it up just behind second base. Infield fly rule is called. So 2 gone. And Martinez holds at third.
So Watson comes on and does in 1 pitch what El Duque did in to make that 7 hitters previous. Get 1 out.
Well, El Duque threw 30 pitches.
Right down the middle with the bases loaded, and you pop it up. We've been there. Had a good long look at it because he got good wood on it, but it went straight up behind the bag at second base.
Well, Alan Watson, a former Mariner, former New York Met, he'll get a chance to show off here at new Safeco Field. Dan Wilson as the Mariners bat around. Dan Wilson, the 9th place hitter. And it's strike 1 to Wilson.
During the time that Alan Watson was with the Mariners, which was not very long, by the way.
It was a long time.
Yeah, well,
I know you're going to give.
He gave up some distance.
Yeah.
9 outs and gave up 5 home runs. But he's pitched much better than that with the Yankees.
We haven't seen that. I mean,
yeah.
He has been sharp with New York, changing speed, getting right-handers out with that good changeup. Hides the ball for left-handers, so it's hard for a left-handed hitter to pick the ball up from him. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Watson comes in, gets Mabry to pop up to save the run at third, and strikes out Dan Wilson. But boy, has it been a wild and woolly first inning. Yankees still lead it though, 5-3. Well, back here in Seattle, Yankees lead at 5-3, top of the second inning. It's Seafair Week here in the greater Northwest, and the Blue Angels are in town. You see them flying over and just waving at one of the Blue Angel pilots this afternoon, as a matter of fact. Tonight's American Express quote features this quote by Tino Martinez. I miss Jay, Lou, and all those guys. That's it. I didn't miss the way they handled the team a lot of times. That's according to Tino Martinez. He doesn't mean Lou or all of his buddies over there. Girardi leads it off for the Yankees, bunting down the third baseline, and I thought he had it beat out. And he thought he had it beat out too. Nice play by Mabry.
You know, watching Joe go down the line, Bobby, I think he's got a beat. I think that left foot just hit the bag just ahead of Ibanez coming up. He lays down the bunt, and it's a pretty good one. Pissarro can't get to it. It's up to the third baseman. Mabry goes to the glove. Maybe should have gone to. Yeah, I think he beat it. Now, I might have a different angle, show something a little bit different, but I think Joe Girardi does have a beef here. Look at that. That's a close play. He calls it, but the umpire, Doug Eddings, went the other way. Another look. Is that left foot? Nah, maybe not, as we look at it that way. But to see Ibanez, he's not an experienced first baseman. He really didn't reach out for that ball. He let the ball come to him, and I think that's made it an even closer play. Now, Joe Torre is going to go out and argue the case a little bit. You know, he's not really heated. Maybe just saying he called it a little too fast. You remember, this is a young crew. We mentioned that. Now Joe Torre following the umpire down the line.
I think we're seeing a lot of frustration from Joe Torre on what happened to El Duque in the bottom of the first inning. Doug Eddings, as you mentioned, a young umpire, and now getting his taste of what it's like here in the big leagues. You very seldom see Joe Torre argue too long about a particular play, especially that one right there.
Cedarstrom, Eddings, Barrett, and Cooper. Not long-time names in the American League, but names that might be around for a long time.
According to what's going on in baseball today, as far as the umpires are concerned.
Here's another look, and watch Joe Girardi's left foot. Does it hit the bag before Ibanez gets the ball? Looked like he was out, didn't it?
Too close for me to call.
Well,
from that angle there, it looked like Girardi was out. Many times we have seen umpires make calls and think that they missed the call, and once we get a chance to see it on a replay, we find out that they are right. And Paul O'Neill fouls the first pitch off to the right side. So too close for us to call up here.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he was right. But it was a close play. But I think Joe argued that he called it too fast.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I have to go along with you, too. I think he was out. That's over with. One out here in the second inning. And Paul O'Neill, who homered after 2 men were out in the first inning, that really got it started for New York. It was Paul's 13th home run.
That first inning kind of reminded me, we got football season coming. That opening kickoff, a long drive down the field. The other team gets the kickoff, makes another long drive down the field.
Well, the Yankees and Paul O'Neill, they're looking for that long drive again. Outside for a ball, 2-1. Now, what kind of psych does Fassero have? I mean, he couldn't have been any lower after the first inning. After he gave up 5 runs and 3 home runs to the Yankees. Now he's got new life.
He's got to figure I'm back in business here. My
really.
team's got me back in this game. Make that first inning my worst inning of the game. Because he won't get a chance to have another one like that.
The only left-handed bat at Joe Torre's lineup tonight, and Fassero has fallen behind 3 balls and a strike. Traded to Seattle with Pacheco, Alex Pacheco by the Montreal Expos for catcher Chris Witcher and Matt Wagner. A pitcher, and that's going to get Stan Williams on the phone again. Boy, the wires are hot tonight. Rodriguez hit short. 2 out for New York in the second.
Well, the reason why Fassero was traded by Montreal is the reason why many of the Montreal Expos have been traded. He just got too expensive for the team. He was about ready to go to arbitration, and it didn't happen. They traded him Seattle, and Fassero signed a 3-year deal. Tom Davies back up in the bullpen. And now that deal's run out, so Fassero can become a free agent again, although he is not having the type of year that would make him a big-time money winner in the offseason, although you know how pitching goes, and people want pitchers. And he's experienced, if nothing else.
Well, Bernie, who hit a home run his first time up, number 18. Strike 1 to Bernie Williams now.
33 home runs allowed, 68 extra base hits allowed, most in the majors, and he's had the problem holding runners on.
What else is left?
But you know what I think, if he does go out on the free agent market, people will say, well, he's post-surgery. Usually it takes a pitcher a year to get his arm strength back, and they might be gambling on the fact that he can come back next year pretty strong.
Surgery in the offseason to take a bone spur just off the elbow. Normally not a big type of surgery. That's orthoscopically they take it off of there. Swing and a miss. Not a breaking ball this time. So Fassero. The Yankees go 1-2-3 here in the second inning. He's got new life and a new attitude. Bottom of the second coming up. Well, here at Safeco Field, it's all in Alan Watson's hands as the Yankees lead at 5-3. But you can see the Yanks and the Twins in a 4-game series starting August the 13th through the 16th. Now, the 13th is Travel Mug Night for fans 21 and over, courtesy of Maxwell House. On August the 14th, Fleet Bank presents Old Timers Day. And so all the old timers will be there, including yours truly. And the 15th is also Beanie Babies Day, and all fans 14 and under with a ticket receive Millennium from the Beanie Babies collection. Get your tickets at all the ticket masters. Bottom of the second inning. And we start up top on this Mariner order. Brian Hunter, who led it off with a walk, an unusual walk for Brian Hunter. Normally a free swinger. Strike 1 to Hunter here, though, in a second. Tries to bunt his way on. Now it's 0-2. Well, one thing that Watson is doing that El Duque did not do, he's throwing strikes.
Just getting the ball over the plate and getting ahead of the hitters. That's one thing that Brian Hunter didn't do very often when he was in Houston and Detroit. And he drove his managers, Terry Collins in Houston and Buddy Bell in Detroit, crazy. One thing those two guys had in common, they got fired from those jobs.
Hit out into left field. Coming on is Curtis, and what a play by Chad Curtis. One of those shoestring catches. by Chad Curtis, one down.
Now, we know that Curtis is not having the best offensive year, but one thing he does bring to the table every single time he's in there, he brings a good glove in left field. Excellent defensive player, and you see his concentration as he comes on and makes the catch and then rolls over. Good play by Chad Curtis in left field. I mean, one thing Joe Torre knows that he's got an excellent defensive left fielder when Chad Curtis is in the game.
Strike one to David Bell. Yeah, Chad. Right now it looks like Joe Torre is going with Shane Spencer and Ricky Leday in a platoon out of left field, but I think that he sees the importance of Chad Curtis to be able to be his fourth outfielder, and also he's kind of taken the place of Homer Bush and what Homer used to do for the Yankees in late innings and pinch running. Or maybe a Chili Davis or Tino Martinez.
Just got through talking about Buddy Bell when he managed the Tigers. Of course, it's David Bell's dad. David was born the year that Buddy made it to the big leagues, 1972.
And his granddad, Gus Bell. So he comes from a baseball family. He knows a lot about playing Major League Baseball. Driving a base hit into right field his first time up. 15 home runs. He's got power for a second baseman. That's a career high for him, along with those 57 RBIs.
David Bell's grandfather, you mentioned his grandfather Gus. Stan Williams pitched against his grandfather, and he calls David Bell Gus. Of course, Gus Bell was with the Mets when they first started up in 1962. He has since passed on, but he lived long enough to see his grandson play in the major leagues.
What a big thrill that's got to be. Of course, along with Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr., they were here with the Mariners at one time a couple of years ago. Senior now with Cincinnati. In on the hand, popped him up. Easy play from Knobloch. Two gone.
Well, at this point, Watson has come on and settled things down. He's faced 4 men and retired all 4.
Making his 6th appearance for the Yankees.
He's got a chance to pick up a win if he holds the lead here.
Yankees needing some left-handed arms down in that bullpen, so they picked Alan Watson up, signed him to a minor league contract, and making his 6th appearance tonight for New York, and has done well in his previous 5 as Junior steps in. Base hit RBI for him, came around to score. So what Joe Torre has been able to do is now bring the left-hander in. Canales started more left-handers against El Duque. That'll be another base hit for Ken Griffey Jr. He's 2 for 2 tonight with 2 outs.
Now Watson has that unusual delivery. Watch, he'll come up, hesitate, might throw the timing off. That's a changeup, but Junior was right on it. That was either a little too fast or a little too up in the zone, and Junior is 2 for 2. One thing that has made Ken Griffey Jr. such a great hitter that left-handers don't seem to bother him all that much. Maybe somebody like Randy Johnson, but not. He's been able to hit home runs off of both lefties and righties.
Well, will the Mariners be able to sign Alex Rodriguez, who's hitting now, and Ken Griffey Jr. 1 more year from now, and they both will be free agents if they're not already signed by the Mariners by that time. They have a brand new stadium. They still have the same old problem that they've had over the last 5 or 6 years, and that's pitching. Now that Randy Johnson is gone, Ken, they don't have an anchor man on their starting staff. They've got some young rookies, young arms that look very promising, but how do you win with that?
Yeah, you'll see Freddie Garcia tomorrow night.
On the ground towards second. Knobloch will throw out Rodriguez, so Alan Watson does the job here in the second. Mariners leave a man on. We finally played 2 here at Safeco Field. Yankees in front by 2. Well, back here at Safeco Field, top of the third inning. Let's take a look at the everyday fan. And I believe these two guys right here qualify as a Toyota everyday fan. When you come to the ballpark, you got to have some peanuts and you got to have some popcorn.
He's working on those
peanuts. You got to enjoy a good baseball game. Looks like he's got a what do they call those, Twizzlers? A little licorice.
Oh yeah, those.
I think that's a Twizzler.
Those are
good. I love those.
Oh man,
absolutely. Nice going. We pick out those Toyota everyday fans, and they always turn out to be the best. Jimmy Leyritz leads it off for the Yankees, and 1-1 count to Leyritz. Leyritz with a base hit. The Yankees with 6 hits in the first inning. Tim and I were talking last night, Ken, about the Seattle Mariners, the second fewest pitching changes in the American League. The Yankees with the fewest. And if you ask a trivia question about that, I think everybody, as many times as we've seen Lou Piniella go to the mound, we'd think that he would make a whole lot of pitching changes, but not a whole lot to go to in the bullpen, so he leaves those starters in there. Unlike the Yankees, Pizarro's still out there. El Duque is gone.
Kind of reminds you of the situation early this year in interleague play when the Yankees were playing the Phillies. Terry Francona, the same sort of thing. He didn't want to go to the bullpen. Left the starters in there because usually when he went to the bullpen, bad things happen.
Jose Mesa, the closer for the Mariners. And as of lately, he hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity to get out there and close a game out for Seattle. There's Mesa. There's lots of activity just beyond the both bullpens here at Safeco Field. See the fans walking behind them. We saw a couple of Mariners, a couple of Yankees talking last time. Leyritz is going to have another knock for himself to lead it off here in the third. So Leyritz now 2 for 2. And that's one of the reasons the Yankees picked up Jimmy Leyritz. I mean, he's a veteran guy. He comes off the bench to play first base, third base for you. He's a good right-handed hitter, and he's done it before in crucial situations.
Yeah, he certainly has. Big time for the Yankees in the World Series in '96. Look at the leg kick. I mean, this thing, like a flamingo. Follows through, got jammed a little bit, but strong enough to drive it to the outfield for the base hit. Paul O'Neill has a leg kick, but I don't think it's that exaggerated.
Who knew that in American baseball that everybody would try to emulate Sadahara O? I mean, that leg kick now is just, I mean, it's routine. Almost everybody using that leg kick for timing purposes.
Well, what did he hit? Over 800 home runs over in Japan? 800 home runs.
Spencer, the batter, he also had a base hit. Something off speed there as Spencer swung and missed. Now it's 1-1.
Well, this year, Pizarro's had a lot of problems early in ball games, and maybe Lou Piniella, knowing that, just going to let him work it out here early in the ball game. You'll see a lot of that when Pizarro's on the mound. Pitches in the third, sliders and splitters, trying to get hitters to chase. And that's why I said prior to this year, he didn't give up many home runs. This looks like it's going to be a slider. Yep. You can see the spin on it in the dirt. Good block by Dan Wilson.
Wilson, a heck of a defensive catcher, and calls a good game. Took a little bit off of that one. Looked like a changeup. Swung on, miss by Shane.
Now the reason why Shane actually swung at this, it was up, out over the plate, moving away. Might have been a splitter. Just Pizarro sometimes uses that as an off-speed pitch. Not much movement on it, but just too far away for Spencer to make contact. Just enough movement on that pitch.
Out in front and pops it up just beyond the Mariner dugout back in the stand.
I think with Spencer, Bobby, and I don't know if you'll agree on this or not, he's very quick on pitches inside, and that's the one he usually powers out of the ballpark. But when he had a good September last year, he had so much power, he could hit the ball the other way out of the ballpark. I remember hitting a few shots into the bleachers in right center at Yankee Stadium. I think his approach with Fassero should be to hit the ball back to the middle. Fassero's not giving him much on the inner half.
I totally agree with you. Same for the Yankee right-handed hitters last night versus Jamie Moyer. You know, that off-speed stuff, kind of a Larry Gura type of pitcher. And just something to try to help keep that shoulder, that front shoulder in as long as you can. Fassero darn near threw that one away. Good play by Ibanez.
See that left hand wrapped up. Left hand is wrapped up by Jim Leyritz.
A lot of players like to hold the glove in one hand or another. Some like to hold the glove in both hands just to keep them from jamming their hand when they have to slide.
Yeah, Leyritz injured that hand earlier this year and had to go on the disabled list. And he has a little plastic guard on the inside underneath the tape that protects that bottom part of the fifth finger.
Years ago, before players used to wear those gloves, they just pick up a fistful of dirt, hold the dirt in their hands. Inside corner, that's all for Shane Spencer. Second strikeout for Fassero.
After all the pitches away, he comes inside. Of course, when you're going to do that, you're going to have something on it. Pretty good fastball to the inside corner for call strike 3. And Shane Spencer has been influenced by all the previous pitches that he knows it's strike 3.
Well, Scott Brocious, who steps in here, man out, man on for New York. 3-run shot. His first time up. That'll be out of play. Brocious shocking everybody. I mean, he took one deep into center field. Fassero out in front, no balls and 2 strikes. Very quiet crowd. I think this crowd is in shock at this moment at what has happened early on in this game.
Well, I over the years I thought the Kingdome was one of the louder stadiums.
Oh, it was.
And because all the noise had nowhere to go, hit the roof and came right back down. Of course, here it could dissipate out into the night.
Even the trains are in shock right now. We've only heard one train and we're already in the 3rd inning. For New York. Now low and inside. Now it's a 2-2 count to Brocious. Well, a lot of things happening in baseball. Yesterday and today, Mark McGwire hits his 500th home run. He also hit 501. A lot of guys chasing that 3,000 hit mark. Tony Gwynn, Wade Boggs, Cal Ripken. They will ask for the appeal. Brocious thought he held up, but Doug Eddings down at first base said no, you went around. So back-to-back strikeouts for Fassero.
Let's take a look at the last pitch. That's a slider down and in, and yeah, I believe he did go around too far. Doug Eddings got it right. Here's a look at that grip by Fassero, and as I mentioned, he had one of the nice tight spin on it. Nice tight slider, supposed to look like a fastball. Then you start your swing, and actually it is not. Brocious is out of there. You're mentioning Tony Gwynn.
I understand that Tony Gwynn did get his 3,000th hit tonight in San Diego's 12-10 win over Montreal. So I saw a little interview by Tony. He said, all I want to do is just get it out of the way. I don't care where I get it. It's in Montreal or New York or in San Diego. We take a look at our Jeep scoreboard. Curtis hits one high. Right side of the infield. Ibanez will wait for it. He puts it away. So the leadoff hit by Leyritz. No problem there. They played 2.5 here at Safeco. 5-3 New York. Mariners coming up here in the bottom of the third. 5-3 New York. But tomorrow, two of the National League's best teams square off as Barry Bonds and the Giants battle the Chipper. That's Chipper Jones and the Braves. Coverage begins tomorrow at 12:30 right here on Fox 5.
Both those teams embroiled in some pretty good races. Braves against the Mets and the Giants against the Diamondbacks in the National League West.
Watson facing off with Edgar Martinez leading off. He'll be followed by Buhner and then Ibanez. If you're just joining us, the Yankees came out with 5 runs and 3 home runs in the top of the first inning. The Mariners answered with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. It looked like an old-fashioned slugfest here at Safeco Field. And since that time, El Duque is gone. He only lasted a third of an inning in this start tonight. Edgar Martinez with a base hit in the first.
Yeah, that was easily his shortest outing of his career. 1/3 of an inning. His previous shortest outing had been last July 29th in Anaheim. 3 1/3 innings against the Angels.
2-1 pitch to Martinez. Foul back and out of play.
Bobby, I understand that you mentioned Tony Gwynn got his 3,000th hit tonight, and he got it in Montreal. First time up off of Dan Smith, the Expos starter. And there were 13,540 fans at that ball game, which is above Montreal's average. They average about 9,000 a game.
This time it's fouled on the left field line.
That's why I was kind of rooting for Tony to get the hit in St. Louis. I know Mark McGwire got all the big thunder last night with the home runs. We look at some more scores from the American League. But, you know, I wanted it to be in a place where there's a lot of people on hand that got to see some history.
It would have been nice, but like Tony Gwynn said, he said, I don't care. I just want to get it out of the way. Broken bat. It will be a base hit for Martinez. Somehow that ball eluded Soho at shortstop. And Martinez is 2 for 2.
Well, anytime a pitcher gives up a broken bat hit, you got to figure I made a pretty good pitch. But Edgar Martinez got enough of it to get it by Soho and into center field for the base hit. It's a changeup. You can see by the grip all the fingers on the ball, and that's why Edgar Martinez was out in front and hits it off the end. But that bat died a hero as he picks up a base hit. And is now 2 for 2.
Edgar on at first. This is Jay Buhner. Out of play right side. Well, we talked about the pitching of the Seattle Mariners. They've got some aging hitters too. Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez are well up into their 30s now, and just like anybody else, you can't avoid it. So some of your skills, the older you get, you start losing some of your timing, and you're not as quick with the bat. You got to make some adjustments. As you mentioned, Buhner will be playing first base for the first time tomorrow, so he's going to be at a new position.
Yeah, both he and Edgar Martinez can be free agents at the end of the year. So the Mariners have some big decisions on their ball club, and a lot of it has to do with their starting lineup.
It is so hard to put that perfect mix together to win and go on and claim that world championship. The Mariners have had such an explosive offense for about 4 or 5 years. They've got the Griffey, Alex Rodriguez problem. They've got aging stars, as you mentioned, Buhner and also Martinez. They're still trying to find a left fielder. They've been trying to find a left fielder for so long. They have Brian Hunter out there now. He may be the answer. Who knows? Pitching is still the problem. They've got about a $50 million payroll. They're in a brand new ballpark. And they're 2 games under 500. There goes Martinez. The throw by Girardi not in time. He stole that base off of Watson. Big jump by Martinez. That's his 5th stolen base of the year. That's a rarity.
Well, you don't think of Edgar Martinez as a stolen base guy, and he's getting a nice round of applause from the fans here at Safeco Field. 5th stolen base of the year, but he's only attempted 6. So that tells you when he goes, he knows he's going to make it. And you can see well ahead of the throw and in there with the steal. They haven't seen much of that. And, you know, when you think about it, in the Kingdom, there's no reason to steal all that much. Just lay back with Jay Buhner at the plate, let him hit one over the fence and drive you home.
I don't really know how much sense it makes here in this inning either. Down by 2 runs and nobody out. But he caught the Yankees by surprise, and now it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count to Buhner.
You mentioned the $50 million payroll, and you hear a lot of smaller market teams. Well, it's not so much what your payroll is, it's what you do with it. I mean, you can have some pretty good young players come out of your organization. Just saw one of the best in baseball, in Alex Rodriguez. Of course, he is now up his salary quite a bit, but when he first came up, he wasn't making all that money.
A walk to Buhner. Now the runners at first and second for Seattle. This will be Raul Ibanez, the left-handed hitter.
Let's see how Lou Piniella wants to play it here. He has another left-handed hitter coming up in Mabry. Yeah, with nobody out, do you have Ibanez try and lay one down? Scott Brosius in on the grass at third.
Mabry with more experience. Ibanez, a young player. Something out of their system. Off the end of the bat. Fairly deep in the left field, but not deep enough. So Martinez only goes halfway. He's going back to second. There's one down. So no bunt there.
And that was more like Kingdom baseball. Let him get up there and swing the bat. No bunt to try and move the tying runs into scoring position. And Ibanez does not advance the runners. Maybe Lou Piniella thinking of left-hand hitter, pull the ball, you advance somebody. And left-hand hitters do advance base runners better than right-handers. But you see Lou's upset. He pointed towards left field. Says that's not where I wanted the ball hit.
Ibanez only 26 years old. 36th pick for the Mariners. And now it's up to Mabry. But remember that Joe Torre went to the left-hander very early in this game when Lou Piniella had stacked the left-handers up against El Duque. Russ Davis is not playing tonight. On the ground, right side. Knobloch's only play is to Watson, who's covering. It looked like Leyritz is going back, and Lou Piniella's going to come out and argue, saying that Watson missed the first base bag. Boy, Doug Eddings is having a whale of a go at first base tonight. He's already heard an earful from Joe Torre. Now he's going to get it from Piniella.
Well, sometimes managers will try and influence young umpires, but let's look at the play itself. Knobloch, Leyritz will lay off and let Watson catch the ball. And was he on the bag when he caught it? We're going to get a better look at it with this angle. The ground ball to the right side. Both runners will advance. Leyritz takes himself out of the play. Knobloch with only one target. Double clutches. Throws. Is Watson on the bag when he catches the ball? Yeah, he is. His foot is on the bag. That's an out. So the runners do advance, but now there's 2 outs. Watson, good job keeping that right foot on the bag, and the ball is in the glove. So there's the out.
And once again, Eddings is right.
Yeah.
At first base. Boy, he has taken some heat tonight. But Doug, you have been right 2 times. So Dan Wilson, who struck out his last time up, takes a called strike. The runners move up. Martinez to third. Buhner down to second now.
I think Lou was thrown off by the awkward dismount. The awkward dismount.
Because when he came out there, you know, he kind of drew the line in the dirt where he thought that Watson's foot was. That's well hit, but foul left side.
That's a way of kind of showing up a young umpire, too. They put that line of it. I don't think veteran umpires would have stood for that. I mean, you go back to the days when we were playing. You try that on Nestor Shylock, who went to the Hall of Fame this year.
How about Runge?
Yeah, you just might as well just get your hand ready to turn the shower on.
See you later. Make the big right turn. A hit here would possibly tie the score. Down low. Now it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Just to update you on Tony Gwynn, we told you that Gwynn got his career number 3,000th hit tonight in his first time up. Well, he added 3 more to that, so 4 hits for Tony Gwynn.
You know what Tony's thinking? He's probably thinking those first 3,000 were the toughest. His next 1,000 will be pretty easy.
Why not?
What a night.
Wade Boggs also looking for 3 hits. And that 3,000 mark, he went 0 for 3 tonight.
Watson trying to bear down and get the final out here. And the Mariners do have the tying runs on. It's going to be one of those games, Bobby. I can see it.
Going to be.
Yeah.
It already is. I mean, when you have the kind of offense that we had in the first inning. Got in on the hand. Fly ball out to center, and Bernie has it. So Watson makes a nice pitch on Dan Wilson. Ties him up a bit. The Mariners leave a couple of men on. Hey, we played 3 here at Safeco. 5-3 New York. How can you be asleep in an exciting game like this? I guess you're just waiting for that crucial moment.
I'll tell you what.
Wake up and watch it.
He won't sleep all night, though.
All right. Well, Sunday, catch the latest scores and inside the information. You can tune in for the weekend sports with Sports Extra after the Fox 5 10 o'clock news. That's coming up Sunday.
Out to the top of the 4th inning. 5-3. All the runs scored in the first inning, and Luis Sojo, who is 1 for 1, leads it off for the Yankees here in the 4th. Bobby mentioned Louis 7 for his last 11 and make that 10 for his last 24. It just went hard into left field for a base hit. And Luis Sojo continues with the hot hitting. He's 8 for his last 12 and 2 for 2 tonight. Leadoff single here in the 4th inning.
And Sojo, a former Seattle Mariner. What a job he has done as being that super utility man and coming off the bench and continues to hit. You know, he has great instincts for a player. Even though a player doesn't play that much, Sojo provides a lot of instincts, not only on the base pass, but at the plate and when he plays short or second or third or whatever.
Hadn't started since July the 29th. He's in there tonight. He's 2 for 2. Chuck Knobloch at the plate. Chuck is 0 for 2. Going to take a look at our Jeep National League scoreboard. The Mets do it again. They beat the Los Angeles Dodgers at Shea by a score of 2-1. The Braves over the Giants by 4 at Turner Field. Wrigley Field, the Cubs are having a rough time lately. They lose to Houston. And Chicago, Andrew Lorraine with a complete game 3-hit shutout. Pittsburgh over the Cardinals. Pitch to Knobloch is down low for a ball, 1-1. Chuck is 0 for 2. Mentioned that 0 for 2. Both of his outs coming in the first inning. He made 2 of the 3 Yankee outs. We'll finish up our Jeep scoreboard here. St. Louis 5-1 over Pittsburgh. And Florida hammered Colorado 9-1. In a wild one in Montreal, we mentioned Tony Gwynn with the 4 hits tonight. San Diego wins 12-10. So congratulations to Tony.
I understand the Mark McGwire 500th home run ball is going to be worth around $1 million on the market someplace. Can you believe that?
And Tony Gwynn got a single for his 3,000th hit, so I'm sure he got that baseball. So $1 million bucks.
That's what I understand. I read that in the paper, or I saw it on one of the ESPNs or whatever reports.
Knobloch, little roller. Is it going to be fair? No, it's going to roll foul for John Mabry.
Well, what that home run number 70 ball go for? Went like for $3.2 million somebody paid for, right?
So 500 is worth only the 16th player that get to 500 home runs. But he's the first player to get to from 400 to 500.
He's the fastest.
It lasted 2 years. He did it. So at this time next year, could we Be talking about him coming up on 600.
Tell you what, if he stays healthy, don't tell him how many home runs that he can hit. In fact, you know, home runs, they're just like nothing anymore. I mean, you expect to hit 2 or 3 home runs.
Yeah, turn it on the water faucet. Here it comes. Yankees hit 3 in the first inning tonight. Scored 5 times against Jeff Pissarro, who's still in there. Knobloch swings, high fly ball, deep left field. Hunter going back. It is gone. A home run for Chuck Knobloch. The 4th home run allowed by Jeff Pissarro in this game, and the Yankees now have a 7-3 lead. And Chuck Knobloch, despite making 2 outs in the first inning, had 2 pretty good swings, and he came through with that one. For Knobloch, his 10th home run of the year.
Yeah, you talked about those swings when he made the 2 outs of the first. Actually, the first swing, he just got underneath it a bit. I think he could have hit that ball out of the ballpark. The second one was the line drive to left field. Hunter made a great play. So you just take it in your own hands. You don't allow anybody to try to touch it.
That is over the bullpen. And as Joe Girardi lines one to left center, this is a base hit. So the Yankees, 2 singles and a home run this inning. Girardi's now 1 for 3. And the Seattle bullpen's getting busy again in a hurry. Take another look at the home run by Chuck Knobloch.
Well, Nobby has been hitting home runs in bunches last week or so. 2-run shot there. That was a pitch up in the strike zone. Knobloch, you could see, kind of hacked that a little bit. He was trying to get on top of it, and obviously he did. Pissarro acting like he had made a pretty good pitch, but actually that pitch was up in the strike zone.
Here is Paul O'Neill, who started it off for the Yankees in the first with a solo homer with 2 outs. Pitches down low for a ball. So the Yankees with 7 runs on 10 hits through 3+ innings against Jeff Pissarro.
You know, New York will just absolutely wear you out. They do not stop. They do not give up. They never let their dauber get down. They just keep coming at you and at you and at you. That was one of the things that Piniella was talking to me about before today's ball game. What happened last night? He said they just will wear you out. He said they never stop.
O'Neill checks his swing, but foul tips it into the glove of Dan Wilson. That's a strike, 1-1. I think one thing you see from the Yankees, even when they get big leads or blown out a game, you don't see many of their guys give away at bats. And I think Paul O'Neill is a prime example. When he makes an out, no matter what the score of the game, he's not happy about it.
And Moyer knew it last night, too, that the Yankees very patient at home plate. As you mentioned, don't swing at many bad balls and normally hitting with the count in their favor.
Good pitch to the outside corner by Pissarro, and it's 1-2 on Paul O'Neill. You've heard the term good fastball hitter, and I think that certainly applies to Paul O'Neill. Lou Piniella looking on as his supposedly ace left-hander has gone 4-12 during the year and is struggling in this game. When Randy Johnson left, when they traded him to Houston, they got some good pitchers for him, but they thought Jeff Pissarro would lead the staff. That's up high for a ball. I mentioned the term good fastball hitter, and you can say that about Paul O'Neill, but it's not so much that he hits the fastball. He knows how to get himself into fastball counts. He doesn't swing at too many bad pitches. Then he's ahead on the count, gets the fastball, and he doesn't miss it. He hits it.
And when Paul was in Cincinnati and Lou was there, the manager, he wouldn't allow Paul to hit against left-handed pitching. Paul had to actually break out of that with the New York Yankees.
Slider misses. Count has gone full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And you get that tag, you know, a left-handed batter. Well, you just can't hit left-handed pitching, so we put you in a platoon situation. And certainly Paul is he takes some awful-looking swing. I mean, he does, but he somehow gets the bat on the ball. He lines it down the left field line. He'll take the inside pitch and pull it down the right field line. He never looks like he's on balance. About 70% of the time, he looks like he's hitting off balance, but he's not.
Toss over the first. The Yankees have the option here with O'Neill at the plate, nobody out, to send Girardi. First inning, Paul O'Neill was right on balance when he hit this pitch.
And we were talking about the inside part of the plate. Well, he just trusts his hands, and what happens there? It's a home run.
Nobody out. 3-2 count here in the top of the 4th. The Yankees have already scored twice. Joe Girardi's at first. He's going. Pitch to O'Neill is fouled off. That's another thing that O'Neill does well. He spoils some tough pitches.
He's able to fight those off. That's what you were talking about. Able to fight those pitches, tough pitches.
And I think that's why you see Joe Torre sending runners in front of Paul O'Neill, because he has the feeling, well, he knows the strike zone. He'll take a ball, probably won't chase, and he'll be able to put bat on ball somewhere and protect the runner. It's nice when you have that luxury when you're number 3 hitter. Runner's going. Pitch to O'Neill. Bounce towards the middle. Bell has it. No play at second. To throw to first. A good play by David Bell. Throws out Paul O'Neill. He only had one option with the runner going. O'Neill protected Joe Girardi by putting the ball in play.
What a heck of a play by Bell. Not only does he have to go a long ways just to pick this ball up, no chance for Girardi. He was off with the pitch. He has to make his mind up to go back across for Ibanez and to throw him out. Take a look at it. This is off balance too, and he gets enough on it, and O'Neill is gone. I think O'Neill thought maybe Ibanez's leg came off, or his foot came off the bag.
Well, not only is O'Neill gone, but so is Jeff Fassero, as Lou Piniella has made the move with the Yankees leading by a score of 7-3 and 1 out here at the top of the 4th inning. The Mariners have gone to the bullpen, and so far the Yankees have made a lot of noise against Seattle pitching. We'll be back. Back at Safeco Field here in Seattle, and Jeff Fassero's night is done after 3 1/3 innings, giving up 7 runs on 10 hits. The Yankees lead 7-3. We talked about the Mariners pitching woes. 25 pitchers used, most of the majors. Single season record is 29 just 3 years ago by the California Angels. 12 different starters, most of the majors. 64 starts by left-handers. Back tonight was the first time this year the Yankees have faced back-to-back left-handed starting pitchers. Jamie Moyer last night and Jeff Fassero tonight. Now Tom Davey is the 25th pitcher that the Mariners used. They got him in a trade from the Toronto Blue Jays for David Segui. You see his season numbers. Big, tall right-hander. And he's going to face Bernie Williams, who is homered and struck out tonight. There's a breaking ball, drops inside for ball 1.
That David Segui deal was right before the trading deadline on July the 28th, and the Mariners going for pitching. The right-hander along with the left-hander Sinclair. We saw him last night in the game, so Sinclair and Davey in that Segui deal.
Tall right-hander delivers, and Bernie fouls one at the home plate area. That'll be a strike. 1-1. Davey originally selected by the Toronto Blue Jays in the 5th round in June 1994, that draft. And the Orioles selected him in the Rule 5 draft, but then sent him back to Toronto. And now he's with the Seattle Mariners. 6'7", 230 pounds. Joe Girardi at second with 1 out. It's a breaking ball up high. Ball 2, 2-1. The Yankees have gotten 2 more runs here in the 4th inning on a 2-run home run by Chuck Knobloch, who has been red hot.
Talk about red hot. That guy right there, boy. Been an RBI machine the last 3 games.
That is way out of the zone. Ball 3, 3-1. Hasn't gotten a breaking ball over yet. Speaking of Tom Davey. Lou Piniella, you mentioned earlier, Bobby, his reluctance to go to the bullpen. He's talking with one of his coaches, Sam Mejias.
Well, it's just it's plain and simple. Lou didn't have any confidence in anybody out in the bullpen.
They're going to pass Bernie Williams intentionally. That will be an intentional walk with the ball 4 with 1 out. Bernie goes down to first base. It'll bring up the right-handed hitting Jim Leyritz. Now remember, Lou Piniella only has 1 left-hander out in the bullpen. That's Steve Sinclair. He was in the ball game last night. So Joe Torre not quite yet ready to counter with Tino Martinez to the plate. Leyritz fouls it back to our right. Leyritz is 2 for 2 tonight. Maybe that's another reason why Joe Torre is going to leave him in there.
I think that foul got Michael Kay and John Sterling.
You think so?
I think so.
Both of them?
Yep. No, they're all right.
They're okay.
Okay, so don't anybody worry.
Those guys are pretty quick.
They don't even have a net in front of them like they normally do.
In Detroit, yeah. Great Melendez to work without a net, too. That pitch is a strike. Got a curveball over. It's 0-2.
Oh, when you're that big, mentioned 6'7", when you have some mechanical problems, if they're just slight, when you're that big, they become big time. They, you know, about double or triple time what it would be for a normal 5'11", 6-foot guy.
Well, you got Stan Williams, a pitching coach for the Mariners, and he was pretty big, about 6'5", wasn't he?
Oh, Stan,
yeah.
At least 6'5".
And
drop and drive Stan.
Oh yeah, he was on those Dodger staffs with Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale. The original Big Hurt, Stan Williams. Curveball is outside. You know, if I'm hitting against Tom Davey, I got to look for a fastball. He hadn't gotten but one curveball over. Dan Wilson with the complicated signs with a man on second. In fact, there's 2 men on for the Yankees with 1 out. Curveball off the end of the bat, fouled off by Leyritz. It was nice the other night when Jim Leyritz made his first appearance at Yankee Stadium since coming over from the San Diego Padres. That is down low, and it's 2-2. And Yankee fans, of course, appreciative of what he'd done for the Yankees in the past. Gave him a nice round of applause when he ran out on the field to warm up.
He's always been a big fan favorite, and they will never forget that home run that he hit off of Mark Wohlers. Man, what a key home run.
That is inside, and the count has gone full. And he also hit a big home run against the Mariners in extra innings for the Yankees. And you think about Wohlers. He hadn't done well since that home run, has he?
No. Like he's out of baseball right now when he's hurt.
Yeah.
But since that time, he confidence-wise, I guess he lost it and couldn't find the strike zone.
The runners are going, and the pitch is popped up to the left side. Rodriguez and Mabry. And it's going to be the third baseman who makes the play. The runners have to retreat. And there's 2 down.
That's what you call a just miss.
Looked like it just missed the roof.
Well, we'll take a look at it. It appeared to be a fastball. It was, and Leyritz just underneath it a bit, sending it up here to this roof made out of 3 separate panels. I suspect nobody has hit the top of the roof here yet, right? No, we understand not yet anyway. This is only the 15th game that they played here at Safeco.
Pitch is a call strike to Shane Spencer. They talked about the roof. They say there's much steel in that roof that would be needed to build a 55-story building. And the roof itself cost $60 million. You wouldn't want those guys putting a roof on your house. There's a fly ball to short center. Griffey coming on. Second baseman David Bell is going to make the call and make the catch. The Yankees are retired here at the top of the 4th. But they do pick up 2 runs on 3 hits. The big hit was a 2-run home run by Chuck Knobloch. It is 7-3 Yanks. Bottom of the 4th, 7-3. The Yankees leading the Mariners. The second game of this 4-game series. We're going to take a look at the standings. Overall, American League, you can see the Yankees, the Texas Rangers, and the Cleveland Indians all kind of bunched together for the best record in the league. There's a pitch to Brian Hunter leading off in the bottom of the 4th for a call strike. He's 0 for 1 with a run scored after walking in the first inning. If you look on the scoreboard, the Indians have lost tonight, and so have the Rangers. So the Yankees have a chance to jump out with the overall best record in the American League.
Well, that's good to talk about, and those are all good things to have on your resume. But the bottom line is, You got to win your division and move on to the World Championship. And that's really the bottom line with New York. It has been for a long, long time, and they've been successful the last 3 years, 2 out of 3 times as a world champion. And they're certainly playing up to par in the same World Championship type team here in '99.
100 fouls went off, and the count is evened up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Alan Watson came on for El Duque in the first inning. El Duque lasted just 1/3 of an inning, allowed 3 runs on 3 hits, and walked 3. Well, after winning the World Championship, what, 24 times now? Can't expect your team to at least go back there and challenge and try and get back there again. This is fouled off again by Hunter. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, when you think about it, whoever manages a team, or whoever's the general manager of the team, whoever owns the team, they got all that history to fall back on. They got to try and live up to it. And so far, the last 2 out of 3 years, the Yankees have done just that. 2-2 pitch to Hunter, bouncing ball, and this is going to be in the center field for a leadoff single. Brian Hunter is aboard for the 2nd time tonight. You know, at the end of the World Series last year, when George Steinbrenner was holding the trophy, and they asked him what he's going to try and do with the team, if he's going to keep it together. I like what he said. I'm not through winning yet.
Well, we take a look at the fast infield here at Safeco Field. Soho not a chance to pick it up. Even if he did, with the speed of Hunter, I don't think he would have thrown him out.
So Hunter's aboard. David Bell's at the plate. David Bell is 1 for 2, singled in the first inning and scored. He's also popped out. Breaking ball, close but low, ball 1.
As in the past with Mr. Steinbrenner in this New York Yankee ball club, winning is the only thing, and there's no grass to be grown underneath anybody's feet in the front office and his baseball people.
Check on Hunter at first.
And from that, you know, the Yankees not only have built this team on the major league level, but they have built a solid farm system. And talking about the minor leagues, Darryl Strawberry, just to kind of update you on him, he was 2 for 5 tonight, 2 singles, playing as a designated hitter. Columbus Clippers losing 11-4 to Indianapolis.
Another check on Hunter. So what, Strawberry's now 4 for 9 in 2 games?
Well, let's see, he was 2 for 4 in the first game, right? And I think he was 0 for 4 last night.
Oh, okay. So he's played 3 games then.
3 games. Okay. Just his 3rd game. 2 for 5 tonight.
Hunter is going. He got a great jump. No chance for Girardi to throw him out. Brian Hunter picks up his 28th stolen base of the year.
Well, it looks good. And it's a stolen base, but 7-3, and obviously Hunter knew that Watson was going towards first base, towards home, and he's got that big high hesitation on the kick. No chance for Joe Girardi. You wouldn't want to make a mistake, though, if you're Brian Hunter.
Hunter can run a 6.2 60, 6.2 seconds in a 60-yard dash.
That's one of the things I think that some of the teams, especially the Tigers, when he's playing with the Tigers, he didn't utilize his speed as much offensively, especially at the plate, bunting, chopping down on the ball, and taking advantage of the biggest asset that he has, and that's speed.
Didn't get on base enough. Bell swings, little looper in the left field. It's going to drop in front of Chad Curtis. It's a base hit. Hunter will score easily. Throw goes into second base. And it's now 7-4 the Yankees lead as David Bell comes up with his 2nd hit and his first run batted in tonight's game. So that stolen base, we mentioned the fact that the Mariners are more aggressive on the bases. They play the hit and run. They will steal a little bit more in this ballpark as opposed to the Kingdome, where they just kind of laid back and went for the homers.
Well, to go along with their power, they do have speed with Griffey and Rodriguez and Brian Hunter, and David Bell with his 2nd base hit of the night. That's getting on top of a fastball. Watson had the ball up in the strike zone, a little bit in. No chance for Curtis to throw out Hunter.
Mel Stottlemyre out to the mound to kind of slow things down with Alan Watson. There's nobody out here in the 4th inning, and the Mariners have scored.
Well, go ahead, Ken. It's one of those games where the floodgates are really open for both bullpens. That's Ramiro Mendoza now warming up for the Yankees, and Stottlemyre taking as much time as he can with Watson, allowing Mendoza to get some throwing time.
Well, after Ken Griffey Jr., you got 3 straight right-handed hitters. You got Rodriguez, Martinez, and Buhner, then a couple of lefties. Griffey Jr. tonight has scored a run, driven in one, and he is 2 for 2, 2 singles. Leading the league in home runs with 35. And we talked about the Ken Griffey Jr. They're still, as you mentioned, Bobby, trying to move things around, tweak things in this ballpark, make everybody happy. And before tonight's game, there was a conference about the batter's eye in center field out here. Evidently, some of the players and particularly the catchers are not happy with it. When the sun sets in the west, which it always does, there's a little reflection off of that batter's eye, and the catchers have problems seeing the ball, and the hitters too. So they're talking about maybe painting it a different color, as Griffey Jr. pulls one foul down the first base side. So you saw Ken Griffey out there along with general manager Woody Woodward and several others trying to straighten out that problem.
Well, the batter's eye here is at an angle. It's not straight across like a lot of the batter's eyes. And you can see also that the fans can walk up above, and sometimes that is also a distraction to the hitter if you're not concentrating on the pitcher. But it's the glare off the left top part of that batter's eye that's giving the hitters some problems, especially catchers. But they'll get it all worked out. I mean, it's just some of those things. Right in that one area where the Mariner sign was, right up in this area right there, was where that problem is with the reflection of the sun coming over the left side of this Safeco Stadium.
Griffey with a good swing and a miss. Watson jumps ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. And they also said off of this advertising, these signs right here, that sometimes the ball comes out of those white signs and the catcher has problems seeing the ball. You know, when the catcher gets down in his squat, he has to look up eye level, and his eye level is right on those signs.
Especially on those looping curve balls up over the top.
They've had a lot of pass balls here. That is low and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ken Griffey Jr. They say the junior lately has been distracted. That he has other things on his mind. Maybe he's not quite as happy with the ballpark. He's not quite as happy with the way the Mariners have placed he and Alex Rodriguez in the middle of a political football at the cost overruns of this stadium. There goes the runner. Got a great jump. The pitch is swung on and missed, and Griffey is out of there. But David Bell will pick up a stolen base, his 4th of the year. So the Mariners are taking leave of first base, headed for second, and they're making it.
Running at ease on Alan Watson. Junior chasing a pitch way out of the strike zone. But with the strikeout, David Bell ends up at second base.
It looks as though the Mariners, for one team in this league, have discovered what that hesitation's all about. And maybe you can use it from the windup, but or from the stretch, as he usually does with nobody on, but certainly not as effective when there's a man on first.
And you know that Lou Piniella and Stan Williams, they know Alan Watson and what his capabilities are of throwing back to first base. We're going to have another pitching change. You saw Joe Torre point out to the Yankee bullpen that Mendoza will come in to face Rodriguez.
Well, he mentioned the 3 straight right-handed hitters, and Ramiro Mendoza is going to get a chance to pitch to at least one of them, as Alan Watson will depart from tonight's ball game, allowing just 1 run and kind of slowing down this heavy Mariners offense. We'll be back with Ramiro Mendoza. Fans, New York Yankee baseball on Fox 5 is brought to you in part by your local Honda dealer, who invites you to discover the value of Honda today. By Budweiser. Now is the perfect time to enjoy a brewery fresh Beechwood aged Budweiser. And by the all-new Grand Cherokee, the most capable sports utility ever. Ed Singleton and Bobby Mercer here at Safeco Field. A sellout crowd of 45,262 to see the second game of a 4-game series between the Yankees and the Seattle Mariners. A lot of offense, particularly in the first inning when the Yankees scored 5 times. The Mariners scored 3 times in the first. But right now, as we're in the bottom half of the 4th inning, the Yankees lead 7-4. Ramiro Mendoza has come in out of the Yankees bullpen. The Mariners have scored a run. They have a runner at second with 1 out. And the hitter is Alex Rodriguez facing Mendoza. You look at his numbers on the year.
Well, you talk about capable. You talked about the sports utility. Mendoza very capable out of that Yankee bullpen.
There's a look at that good sinking fastball, and it's outside, ball 1.
Diversification as he pitches to Rodriguez. Mendoza has saves. He started for the Yankees. He's pitched in middle relief, which he's doing here. He's set up. He's done it all.
He's valuable on the Yankee staff. There's that sinker again. And it doesn't look like any pitcher's really getting that low pitch tonight from Gary Cederstrom. That is ball 2, 2-0. All the hitters and the pitchers, all they want from you, umpire, is to be consistent. Comes up with the sinker. That one's poured in there for a called strike. 2-1.
Whether you're consistently bad or consistently good, just be consistent, right?
The Yankees up by 3 runs. David Bell at second with 1 out. Sinker misses outside. 3-1.
Well, that's a bread and butter pitch too for Mendoza when he starts to pitch on the outside part, and then the ball just kind of tails over on the corner for a strike. The right-handed hitter is the guy that just gives up on that ball, thinking it's going to be outside. Just missing though on Rodriguez.
3-1 pitch. Bouncing ball foul by Alex Rodriguez behind third base coach Steve Smith. Certainly appreciate fans watching and viewing back at home. It's dawning of a new day on the East Coast.
Well, we've got a dawning of a new ballpark here on the greater Northwest coast. Got the best of both worlds here now, though. I mean, this is great. It does rain quite a bit in this area.
Payoff pitch, bouncing ball to short. Nice high hop for Luis Sojo. Throws the first. Rodriguez is out. David Bell will move over to third base. So there's 2 down now. And that'll leave it up to Edgar Martinez as Rodriguez heads back to the dugout.
Oh, good job of pitching by Mendoza to Rodriguez. He fell behind 2-0. Finally came back to get him to hit it on the ground. But Mendoza is sharp with that sinker ball. You will see a lot of hitters hitting on top of it and driving it into the ground.
Well, last year, as Alex Rodriguez kind of shaking his head, couldn't get that in the air. Here's Edgar Martinez, who's 2-2. Last year, when the Yankees were kind of in the running for Randy Johnson, one of the pitchers that the Mariners wanted in return was Ramiro Mendoza. Nice stop by Joe Girardi on the pitch well out of the zone.
They and just about everybody else, because of the diversification that Mendoza can give you. You can imagine what Lou Piniella could do with a arm like Mendoza. Lou and a lot of other ball clubs.
1-0 pitch, outside, ball 2. Runner on third with 2 down.
That Johnson deal last year, that was one of those last-minute deals. In fact, I was told before the game that Johnson was coming to the Yankees, and it would be announced in the 6th inning.
Announcement never came.
It was a deal. Never came.
Swing and a miss by Martinez.
Houston sweetened the pot. Randy ended up in Houston.
And the Mariners got some pretty good pitchers. John Halama, Freddie Garcia. Garcia will pitch here tomorrow.
Yep. Halama on Sunday.
At the time, the Seattle fans were kind of upset. There's a pitch for a call strike. 2-2. You think you're. There's the holder, John Ellis. He didn't believe that last pitch was a strike.
Well, I mean, you know, you can umpire too. Well, if you're park management, you can certainly umpire.
But there's 45,000 umpires here tonight, I'm sure.
45,261.
2-2 pitch, and that is just low. Full count now on Edgar Martinez.
45,262 here, but I saw that baby asleep over there. I don't know if the baby's opened his eyes up yet.
Full count on Edgar Martinez with 2 outs. Mendoza delivers the payoff pitch. Ground ball towards the hole. Soho to the backhand. The long throw to first. What a play! Luis Soho with the bat and with the glove. Look at him kind of smile. Look at Edgar Martinez, his former teammate. That'll do it for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 4th. 7-4 Yankees lead. Luis Soho. Top half of the 5th inning. We're back. It's Safeco Field. Ken Singleton and Bobby Mercer tonight. Scott Brocious has driven in 3 runs, all of them with a home run in the 1st inning. He's also struck out. Pitch from Tom Davey is a ball, 1-1. What a play by Luis Soho to save the Yankees a run to end the bottom of the 4th. Curveball. 2 balls and a strike. Here's Luis going to get a chance to hit tonight, this inning, I should say. He's already 2 for 2. Line drive down the left field line, and it's a fair ball to the corner. Brian Hunter gathers it up, and Scott Brocious with his 2nd hit of the night, a ringing double, leading off the top of the 5th inning. That's the problem with Tom Davey. Cannot get his curveball over. You just sit there and say, well, there's only one thing to look for.
Well, when you see Tom Davey up here, you could see that he wraps that curveball. That appeared to be a fastball or something hard inside. Brocious trusting those hands, lines one down in the corner for a double, leadoff double for the Yankees.
So Chad Curtis is 0 for 1 tonight. He's walked and popped out. But what he'll try and do here is somehow get Brocious over to third base if he doesn't drive him in himself. Pitches up high for ball 1. Another curveball that misses.
That was just more or less a spinner. You can see that he's down underneath a bit. Not able to break it off on top.
Runner at second, nobody out. Fastball outside for ball 2. This is where you can zone in. Just look for something that you can really put some good wood on. Tom Davey having problems with the strike zone. He's going to look for a lot of plate with this pitch. Good swing and fouled back by Chad Curtis. Kind of upset he missed that one.
Yeah, a lot of guys would lay off that pitch because it was a little bit up in the strike zone. In fact, it was quite a bit up in the strike zone. But Chad Curtis, one of the best high ball hitters in all of baseball.
And that's why he wasn't happy when he fouled it back. That was right in his happy zone. Fouls this one off, trying to go to the right side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Curtis getting the start tonight. The Mariners started left-hander Jeff Pissarro. Here in the top of the 5th, Scott Brocious at second with a leadoff double for the Yankees. The Yankees have put 7 runs and 11 hits on the board, and we're in the 5th inning. Curveball, just got a piece of it, and stays alive. 2-2. Curtis has made an outstanding defensive play in the outfield tonight.
One of the better curveballs by Davey, and sign of a good hitter also is to be able to fight those types of pitches off. Give yourself one more chance.
Another curve, and this one nowhere near the zone. Count has now gone full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Chad Curtis. Yankees looking to increase their 3-run lead here in the top of the 5th inning. We spoke of Freddie Garcia, who will pitch tomorrow night. A good young right-hander, 11 wins on the year for Seattle. He'll be opposed by Andy Pettitte, maybe coming off his best start in a long time. Fastball is low for ball 4. The Yankees have 2 on and nobody out here in the 5th. Davey with his 2nd walk. And here's Luis Sojo, who made a heck of a play to close out the last inning.
I mean, a heck of a play. No chance to hesitate on this. And he picks it up going the opposite way towards third base and just kind of throws one of those that just gets Edgar Martinez. And after the play, there's Derek Jeter to give him that. What is that? That's a new handshake.
Yeah.
That must be a shortstop handshake. You can see that blue thing that Jeter has on his left forearm. That's where he was hit last night. So Torre giving him the night off.
Louis 2 for 2. 2 singles, scored a run. The runners are going, and Louis swings a little looper down the right field line. A long run for Buhner. It's going to drop in for a hit. The Yankees will get 1 run, and Sojo will go into second with a 2-base hit. What a night for Luis Sojo. So the Yankees playing hit and run. Curtis had to hold up. It was a long run for Buhner. He thought he might get to it, and it falls in. Scott Brosius scores the 8th Yankee run of the night, and Luis Sojo.
Well, it's the Sojo night right now. It lifted down the right field line. Curtis kind of got caught in between. The runners were off. It was a hit and run, and Curtis was caught down towards second base, so he's a little bit too far anyway. If Buhner comes up with it, he's basically going to throw Curtis out, see how far Curtis is towards second base, and now he's not able to score.
Infield in for Chuck Knobloch, who swings and fouls the first pitch back. You know, this area is called Soto, if I'm not mistaken. South of downtown. So this is Sojo's night in Soto.
And they're probably watching it in Soho back in New York. That kind of game.
Yeah. 8-4, the Yankees lead, and they're threatening for more. Nobody out. Breaking ball. Up high, 1-1. It's Soto, south of downtown, or south of the Dome, which is right across the street here. The old home of the Mariners. Curtis at third, Sojo at second. And Chuck Knobloch, who homered his last time up, swings here, and it's a line drive to the third baseman for the out, and the runners go back. So kind of off the end of the bat, Knobloch now 1 for 4 tonight as he lines out the third. That's the first out.
Just a bit out in front. You can see how in front he was, and Mabry at third, thinking that maybe got off just a little bit too far, but nope.
So the infield remains in. Knobloch back to the bench, and Joe Girardi steps in. 1 for 3. Curveball outside, ball 1. So Girardi, who is hitting in the second spot in the order for the first time this year. Derek Jeter out of the lineup tonight, having been hit by a pitch last night by Jose Paniagua. Is it fair or is it foul? I think that's a fair ball. Yep. And should burst the bubble on that one. It's all part of the job.
Got to take the good with the bad.
1 ball and no strikes on Joe Girardi. Inside, did it get it? Tom Davey puts Joe Girardi in the revolving door.
From up here, it sounded like he may have nicked him. You be the judge. Too close to tell there. Nice spinning move by Joe, though.
Second and third and 1 out. Swing and a miss, 2-1. The other day, a game at Baltimore, Albert Bell was hit by a pitch and didn't want to go to first base. Told the umpire, didn't hit me.
Once in a while, Davey, you can see why the teams like him when he is able to throw pitches like that. He's got some good fastball movement.
That is outside, ball 3. Now there is a base open, but you have Paul O'Neill, left-handed hitter, coming up next. I don't think he's pitching around Joe Girardi. You know, this is a new ballpark. I don't know if they have some sort of barbecue pit out there or whatever. That is outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And the Yankees are still smoking here at the top of the 5th.
And Lou Piniella is still smoking too.
Davies' second walk this inning, his 3rd in the ball game. So the bases are loaded for Paul O'Neill. Stan Williams comes out to the mound, and there's nobody actually warming up now. Maybe this is a chance to give the bullpen a chance to get busy. Yeah, Lou's on the phone.
It's like Frankie Rodriguez now beginning to warm up.
So Frank Rodriguez, the native New Yorker, gets up in the Mariners bullpen, former Minnesota Twin. And he begins to loosen up as Tom Davey, with 2 walks this inning and a couple of doubles. See, the Yankees scored 1 run, but he's got the bases loaded, and Paul O'Neill at the plate. Paul homered in the 1st inning, grounded to short in the 2nd, and was thrown out on a nice play by David Bell last inning. So a chance for O'Neill to add to that RBI total. He's got 69 on the season. Davey starts him off with a curveball, and it misses for ball 1.
Well, there's nothing more hair-raising than to have a guy come out of the bullpen and not throw strikes.
Well, you know, the fielders kind of get back on their heels, and the minds start to wonder. You don't get good defense behind pitchers who don't throw strikes. Up high, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. The sparkling plays that you see from time to time rarely happen when somebody's walked the bases loaded. Guys are just wondering, what is he going to throw one over? They're not so worried about the ball being hit to them. They're worried about if the pitcher's going to throw a strike. O'Neill really can pick and choose here with a count 2 balls and no strikes. It is low, ball 3. 3-0. And after a walk to Joe Girardi, you got to figure that Paul O'Neill is going to be taking this 3-0 pitch. There's Curtis at 3rd, Soho at 2nd, and Girardi at 1st.
I wouldn't be taking. I'd be looking for a pitch, thinking that Davey's just going to lay one right in there
and go for 4, huh?
Paul O'Neill's a quality hitter. I'd certainly be swinging if it's where I want it.
It's ball 4. And it's water under the bridge now as the Yankees score another run. Tom Davey, with his 3rd walk this inning, forces in a run, and it's 9-4 Yankees. That's the easy way to get an RBI. 4th walk charged to Davies for O'Neill. He now has 70 runs batted in on the year, and Stan Williams is coming out to the mound. That's going to be all for Tom Davey.
You see Lou's little wave out there. He says, Stan, you go out and get him. I'm tired of walking out there. You don't have to say anything about that look.
No,
that look right there tells the whole story.
It's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Tom Davey is done. The Yankees have scored twice here in the 5th inning, and he will leave with the bases still loaded and Bernie Williams at the plate, and he'll be facing a new pitcher. It's going to be native New Yorker Frankie Rodriguez. Top of the 5th, 9-4. The Yankees have increased their lead, scoring 2 times here in the 5th inning. Frankie Rodriguez comes in out of the bullpen, and he faces a tough situation with the bases loaded. A couple of weeks ago at Dodger Stadium, Bobby, Frankie Rodriguez is in the middle of an altercation.
I think the hitter is Grudzielanek. That pitch was really not that far inside, just a little bit off the plate. It was high, and Grudzielanek, I guess, said something to Rodriguez. Rodriguez said something back to him, and next thing you know, it's an all-out war. You can see Rick Dempsey, one of the coaches for the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, that is a reminder of what happened in Yankee Stadium and Benitez when he hit Tino Martinez. I think Dempsey got suspended for about 7 or 8 games or days. Todd Hundley also was suspended in that melee.
Saw David Segui was involved, and actually the Mariners came out on the low end of that fight because they had two players injured and had to go on the DL. Here's Frankie Rodriguez now with the bases loaded facing Bernie Williams. And he comes in, drops a curveball over the outside corner for a called strike. Charles Gibson, an outfielder, and Eric Weaver, a right-handed pitcher, went on the DL. They were injured in that altercation at Dodger Stadium. And both of them are out for the season. Dodgers had some tough guys. Here's a pitch inside. 1-1 to Bernie. Bernie tonight is homered. He hit a solo home run in the first inning when the Yankees went back-to-back. That was O'Neill and Williams. Bernie then has struck out and was walked intentionally. 1 for 2. And you mentioned, Bobby, lately he has been an RBI machine. Now with 75 RBIs on the year.
And he's got a chance for a lot more here in this situation.
Curveball bounced towards the middle. And by David Bell into center field. The Yankees are going to get 2 more runs and now lead 11-4. It looked like David Bell was trying to come up with it and flip it to second. Instead, he kind of played it into a base hit. At least I think it's a hit.
It appeared that the ball took kind of a downward movement. He thought the ball was going to come up, and when it took the hop, it went down instead of up. There was a breaking ball outside part of the plate. Right there, it just kind of went down and not coming up for David Bell. I think he just got fooled on it. But yeah, it was going to be a double play. He was going to look like he may have going to pick it up, touch the bag, and go and throw it back to first base. He never got it though.
Jim Leyritz takes a breaking ball from Rodriguez down low for a ball. So the Yankees have now scored 4 times here in the 5th inning. 11 runs on 13 hits for the Yankees tonight. Those 2 runs are charged to Tom Davey. Fastball is foul just over our heads. Leyritz tonight 2 for 3. Every Yankee has a hit but Chad Curtis, and he's walked twice and scored a run. Fastball is down low. 2 balls and a strike. There always seems to be one guy who doesn't get invited to the party, at least not in the early going.
It's early.
Yeah.
I mean, it is real early.
Everybody's gotten a chance to be danced tonight, but Chad Curtis has been a wallflower. Ground ball to second. This could be 2. Bell to Rodriguez for 1 on the Ibanez, and that'll do it. Jim Leyritz hits into an inning-ending double play, but not before the Yankees score 4 runs in the top of the 5th. Luis Sojo is 3 for 3 with 2 runs scored and RBI. Ramiro Mendoza will work to Jay Buhner, and the first pitch is a call strike to the Mariners right fielder, who so far tonight has not gotten a chance to swing the bat. He's walked twice. Swings it here. Ground ball to short. Nice hop for Luis Sojo across the diamond. And there's 1 out. Last 3 outs recorded by Ramiro Mendoza, all been ground balls to Luis Sojo.
Well, that's typical Ramiro Mendoza, is to throw a lot of ground balls. He doesn't strike out that many. Normally the hitter will put the ball in play, but it's when he is on, it's on the ground.
Here's Raul Ibanez, who's walked and flied out to left field. Ibanez taking a turn at first base. The Mariners recently traded David Segui to the Toronto Blue Jays, opening up the first base position. Just a little bit low for a ball. So Ibanez and Jay Buhner will play first tomorrow. That should be interesting when we see Jay Buhner out there for the first time. That's low for ball 2. Did you ever play first base, Bob?
Never did on the major league level. I played some in the minor leagues or at winter ball. Jay was showing a glove that he had that he was going to use at first base.
Hey, it's a ground ball to Luis Sojo. How about that? That's 4 in a row.
Dave Valley, who is a former catcher here for the Seattle Mariners and does some of the broadcasting now. He had played some first base during his career, so he had a better first baseman's glove, and he brought it to Jay Bird. And said, hey, you need to check this one out because yours is not even broken in yet. It's too hard. You need a soft one. So he's going to use Dave Valley's X glove tomorrow. Cross High School in Queens. Dave Valley, and what a...
Holy Cross High School.
I mean Holy Cross.
Yeah, that's a Holy
Cross.
What did I say? Yeah, you said Cross.
Oh, well, I just left the holy out.
Yeah, okay, well. This is not going to Soho. In fact, it might not even go to Bernie Williams. It is deep to center field and short hops the wall. John Mabry's going to steam into second. He's got a 2-base hit with 2 outs for the Mariners here to 5th inning. So Mabry, who might be the answer to a trivia quiz one day. Who was the first baseman for the Cardinals before Mark McGwire? It was John Mabry.
Wow. Well, Mabry gets a 2-out double here. Barney last night, he ran down quite a few of those line drive balls in center field.
Here's Dan Wilson with 2 outs and a man at second base.
I think you get some weird hops and type things in new ballparks because this turf that they have here is indoor. You know, it's real grass. Obviously, it's not that artificial stuff that they had at the Kingdom with this open air facility here at Safeco Field. But I don't know that it's taken its root system yet. A lot of still, a lot of soft spots and a lot of seams that have not grown together yet. Just very typical of young grass and new sod.
Looks high enough to lose a golf ball in, doesn't it? 3-0. I've been in the high grass before.
I think that grass also is a mixture of Bermuda and rye. Not that. That's a mixture of artificial grass.
They had to bring something over from the Kingdom. That's ball 4. Dan Wilson's aboard. So the Mariners, after 2 ground balls to Louis Soho, have gotten a double and a walk. And the inning continues in the top of the order. Brian Hunter will come to the plate.
Kenny, as I look at this, it says the turf for Safeco Field is from Country Green Turf Farms near Olympia. It was harvested and installed in late May at Safeco Field to allow about 6 weeks of root growth.
Brian Hunter takes a pitch for a call strike. And underneath the turf itself, there's 20 miles of heating coils to keep it green. So in other words, during the winter time, they turn up the heat and the grass will remain green. You can play a game here in January if you wanted to and be the green grass of home here at Safeco Field. 0-2 the count on Brian Hunter. So the grass will never become dormant. And Leon Schweier, our director tonight, says that's it for the grass.
But I got one more comment about the grass.
Okay.
It's not Bermuda. It's 80% Kentucky bluegrass.
Oh, okay.
And 20% ryegrass.
That just misses the outside corner. 1-2. Brian Hunter would not bite. Little roller out in front of the plate. Girardi's up with it and throws out Brian Hunter on a ball that maybe went all of 1 foot in front of home plate. Mariners are retired to leave 2 on here in the 5th inning. We're headed to the 6th here at Safeco Field. The Yankees with a big 11-4 lead. There you have a look at Safeco Field as Shane Spencer swings at the first pitch in the top of the 6th. And a lazy fly ball for Ken Giffrey Jr. There's 1 down. So, Bobby, I don't know what it is about these Fox 5 games. And whenever I come on, the last one I did, Yankees beat Cleveland 21-1. Tonight, the Yankees are leading 11-4. This game's not over yet. So last 2 Fox 5 games, and this one's not over. As I said, the Yankees have scored 32 runs.
Nice going.
Here is Scott Brosius. It's hit a 3-run homer and double. He has scored twice and struck out. Instant offense.
Call Singleton.
Frankie Rodriguez is the 3rd Mariner pitcher tonight. It's been Fassaro, Davey, now Rodriguez. Bouncing ball to 3rd in between Hopper, Mabry. He juggles and throws out. Scott Brosius 2 down. Yankees have gone in order only once tonight. That was in the second inning.
Well, we talked about the grass. We haven't said a word about the clay and the dirt surface here at Safeco Field. And we're not. That was a nice play by Mabry, though. That's that corner you were talking about. It's a hot corner. About the only place on the infield where you can knock the ball down, still pick it up, juggle it a little bit, and throw the runner out.
Rodriguez deals to Chad Curtis, and it's a called strike. We mentioned Curtis, the only Yankee without a hit, but he has walked twice and scored a run, so he's only 0 for 1. Curveball. Hey, he's got a base hit. Every Yankee has a hit in tonight's game. The invitation finally came in the mail. A 2-out single for Chad Curtis here in the 6th inning.
Curtis's average is not that good, but he is on base a lot for the Yankees. As you mentioned before, he got that base hit. Breaking ball, a little bit out in front. He gets the ball off the end of the bat, but Curtis lifting those weights, strong enough to lift it over the shortstop's head for a base hit. He's already been on base. This is his 3rd time now.
Speaking of on base, Luis Sojo, 3 for 3, a run batted in and 2 runs scored. His average has gone from 250 to 278. In there for a strike, 1-1. So Louis, who when it was announced that he was in the starting lineup tonight, got a nice round of applause, of course, the former Mariner. Got some big hits in the Mariner uniform. This pitch is popped up to the left side in foul territory. Coming down the line is third baseman John Mabry. He has it. Yankees are retired. Only 1 hit here in the 6th inning. Nothing across for the Yankees. 5.5 have been played. Big time Yankee night. Young fan enjoying a little bite off the bill of a hat. Ramiro Mendoza to David Bell at strike 1. David Bell is having a good night. 2 for 3 with a run scored and run batted in. Yankees leading 11-4 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Curveball drops in neatly. 0-2. Ramiro Mendoza, the 3rd Yankee pitcher. Hernandez started, and El Duque wasn't around for very long. Only a 1/3 of an inning. 3 runs, 3 hits, and 3 walks. Fastball just a little bit high. 1-2. Alan Watson came on, did a good job out of the bullpen, and can be the winner tonight. And Ramiro Mendoza has followed those 2 to the mound.
Did you know that David Bell and Ken Griffey Jr. went to the same high school?
Ground ball off to the glove of Scott Brocious, and David Bell is going to head down the right, make that down to second base with a 2-base hit. So Brocious looked like it took it in a regular hop just as he got to it.
We'll see what happened here. It was a backhand, and it looked like it kind of took an up hop on Brocious, and it got off the glove. Right there. Right there. You see that little weird hop, and Brocious could get the glove on it. He got the glove on part of it, but not before it ends up down the left field line.
You see the umpire, Eric Cooper, there? He hustled down the line. He got there before Brocious did. Here's a pitch inside to Ken Griffey Jr. You know, we talked about umpires not hustling. I mean, he was down there making that call, making sure that the fan didn't interfere with the ball, and they did not. Griffey is 2 for 3. Sinker misses the inside corner. There's 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, one of the problems that Major League Baseball, the umpires are facing right now, is that there was word that Major League Baseball wanted to have a different grading system for the umpires to make them accountable.
Bouncing ball to the right side for Chuck Knobloch. Throws on the run. Griffey's out. Bell moves to third. While we await our next hitter, let's take a look at our General Motors trivia question. Jeff Facero's 12 losses are the most in the American League. Who was the last Mariner to lead the American League in losses? Now, if you go back to the early days of the Mariners, they had a lot of candidates. Back over there in the late 70s, they came into being in 1977 over there at the Kingdome. Here's Alex Rodriguez. Runner at third and 1 out. Outside, ball 1. That was one of my favorite places to hit. King Dome, because of the short fences, artificial surface. Hit the ball on the ground, you get a base hit. Hit the ball in the air, you get a home run.
Now, you never did play at Six Stadium, did you?
No.
When it was the Seattle Pilots?
No, I did not. Ball outside, 2-0 to Rodriguez.
I think they only played over there 1 year. It was basically a glorified AAA ballpark. Rained every day, and
they moved to Milwaukee.
Frank Howard was playing for the Pilots at that time.
2-0 pitch, and Rodriguez going to have himself a run batted in. A single to center field. David Bell scores. It's now 11-5, the Yankees lead. A-Rod with his first hit of the night gives him his second run batted in of the night. He had a sacrifice fly to first inning.
Quality hitters, no matter what the score is, they are always up there looking to try to do the job, and that's exactly what Rodriguez does here. That's a pitch that's a little bit up the strike zone as far as Mendoza is concerned, but Rodriguez going the opposite way with it. Base hit, RBI.
He is such a outstanding talent. Last night he and Jeter put on a defensive display at shortstop, each of them trying to outdo each other, making some great plays. Edgar Martinez 2 for 3. Mariners now have 10 hits in this game, 24 hits, and we're in the bottom of the 6th inning. That is to the corner for a call strike to Edgar Martinez. You mentioned 2 batting titles, one in 1992, another in 1995. .318 lifetime hitter coming into this season. And 2 for 3 tonight, his average at .312 for this year. And he leads one into center field. His third hit of the night. 3 singles for Edgar Martinez. And the Mariners have 2 aboard. With 1 out here in the 6th inning, they've already scored a run. So Martinez, this man has had a magic wand for years.
And he still has it, even at the age of about 36, maybe 37 years of age. In on the hands a little bit. You can see that Edgar somehow fights it off inside. We've seen him do that many, many times.
So 2 on and 1 out for Jay Buhner. And it's a call strike from Ramiro Mendoza. Buhner's seasonal average stands at .236. Had a lot of injuries the last couple of years. That's outside, 1-1. He's had elbow surgery, knee surgery. He's had hamstring problems. All those injuries have limited his playing time and his usually good numbers.
Yeah, you talked about the disabled list. On it this year on May the 19th and didn't come off until July the 15th with a hamstring problem. Since that time, he has yet to really get that bat to moving. Well, Soho will join Girardi out on the pitcher's mound to help translate to Mendoza.
Tell you what, with the Ramiro Mendoza and El Duque, I mean, Luis Soho, he can have a job with the Yankees for a long time.
I think Mendoza knows a lot more English, obviously, than El Duque. But it's always good to have Soho out there, just in case you want to make sure you get the right thing across.
2-1 pitch hit in the air to center field, and it's curving away for Bernie Williams, who makes a great catch. That ball went out there like a slider. Somehow Bernie stayed with it and made the play.
That ball actually came out to Bernie straight away, and then all of a sudden, when it was about halfway between he and the second base bag, it went to the left, and Bernie had to make the adjustment. And it was knuckling all the way and sailing at the same time. That's the hardest ball for an outfielder to catch, is that line drive knuckler.
Looked like it was right to him, didn't it?
It was at one moment.
2 down for Raul Ibanez, and he hits this one high in the air to right field. Paul O'Neill makes the catch. The Mariners do score a run here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As we head to the 7th, the Yankees have a 6-run lead. Top of the 7th, 11-5, the Yankees lead. This family is from out of town, way out of town, to be exact. With 4 aliens disguised as humans trying to fit in, you never know what will happen next. Don't miss Third Rock from the Sun all week long, coming this fall, only on Fox 5. Shane Monahan takes over in left field. And that's Rafael Bornegal at second.
All right, some changes for the Mariners here in the top of the 7th inning. Yankees in front 11-5. Chuck Knobloch 1, 2, 3, 4. This is his 5th time to come to the plate. 2 times in the 1st inning. High fly ball fairly deep into center field. Griffey on the run on the warning track, and he pulls it in. Knobloch went deep back in the 4th inning, but he took it to the left side.
Ken Griffey Jr., we mentioned the fact he's won 9 straight Rawlings Gold Gloves as he makes the catch in deep right center field. Now, the outfielder who has won more in the American League, although they weren't consecutive, was Al Kaline, the Hall of Fame right fielder for the Detroit Tigers, who has 10 Gold Gloves overall. And looks like Jr. will earn another one this year, which will tie him with Kaline for the American League lead.
Girardi takes a pitch up high for a ball. Girardi, he is 1 for 3 tonight with a walk, run score. Best trademark for a center fielder is how shallow can you play and still run those high fly balls and those deep fly balls down. The guy that comes to mind to me is Paul Blair. I don't know of anybody that played a more shallow center field than Paul Blair did.
I had the opportunity to play with Paul Blair at a couple of years in Baltimore, and then he went up to play for the Yankees. And you're right, he did play very shallow. In fact, there was one night in one afternoon in Minnesota where a ball was actually hit over Paul Blair's head. And when he got back to the dugout, Earl Weaver was waiting for him, the Oriole manager, and said, "I do not want another ball hit over your head for the rest of your career." And he's talking to a guy who already won about 4 or 5 Gold Gloves.
At least.
And he got really ticked off. So we went out to the next, for defensively, the next inning. I'm playing right field, and I look over, and I don't see Paul Blair in center. Then I look a little further. He's standing on the warning track.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was.
Got to rest on the you got to rest on the center field wall out there.
Well, you know, from the dugout, they're waving towels at him, trying to get him to come in. He was really mad. He had his arms folded, standing on the warning track. He didn't like the fact that Earl Weaver had embarrassed him in front of the whole team. So when the inning was over, fortunately, nothing was hit to him. He comes back to the dugout, and Weaver says, "Okay, you can play wherever the heck you want."
Well, the only times a player won out over Weaver.
Yeah, well, yeah. Of course, it helps that he had 4, 5, maybe 6 Gold Gloves at the time.
Except for Jim Palmer, who used to win out a couple of times,
Yeah.
right? Paul O'Neill batting. Girardi is on with a walk. One out here in the 7th. O'Neill with a couple of RBIs. He is 1 for 3 with that solo shot back in the 1st inning. Actually, it was O'Neill with 2 outs off of Facero, and boy, the floodgates opened up right after that home run. Did he check it? Yes, he did.
Well, get a chance to call it at home. Yeah, that's a check swing. Put the brakes on that in a hurry.
What Cooper said. Yankees have already banged out 14 base hits. Two balls and a strike on O'Neill. Well, Paul Abbott now beginning to throw for the Mariners. Pizarro started for the Mariners, followed by Davey, now Rodriguez. Got to be careful, though, that you don't blow your bullpen out in the 2nd game of this 4-game series. Once that starter leaves, you know, early in a game, you want to give everybody at least some throwing time, but hopefully not to burn anybody out. Mesa You won't see him unless the Mariners take the lead in this crazy game. Right now they're behind by 6. Inside, ball 3. Now it's 3-2.
You know, when Lou changes pitchers, they leave the ball club. That's his theory of changing pitchers. They go somewhere else.
So you are referring to what we mentioned early on. The Mariners have already used 25 pitchers this season. It's only 4 shy of the all-time single season record. A little tapper off the right side. Ibanez flips to Rodriguez. O'Neill is gone, but Girardi moves to second.
Nice play by Ibanez and Rodriguez. Remember, Frankie Rodriguez was a shortstop when he first signed.
Well, the General Motors trivia quiz. Jeff Facero's 12 losses are most in the American League. Who was the last Mariner to lead the American League in losses? And the answer is 17 losses by Eric Hansen back in 1992.
That will usually do it.
Wow.
You lose that many.
I just wonder how many watching the telecast tonight got that. Big swing by Bernie.
My first guess was Glenn Abbott. Remember Glenn Abbott?
Yeah.
Pitch. We saw Paul Abbott warming up in the Mariners bullpen. No relation.
Well, you see the numbers on Bernie Williams. 2 for 3 tonight. A couple more hits. He had 4 hits last night. He was 4 for 5. Got 3 more RBIs in this game. He had 8 in the last 2 days. So now 11 in 3 days, and looking for some more because Girardi's down at second. Hey, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good month's work.
Wow.
In 3 days, he has 11 RBIs.
Well, it's one of those guys that can carry the team from time to time. You just put the men out there, and he'll get them in. Now, Frank Rodriguez has always had a strong arm. But in Minnesota, I think they tired of his inability to get the ball over the plate consistently. But now he's getting another chance in the Mariners organization.
Tapper and just past Rodriguez. Tough play for the other Rodriguez. And it will be no play. So Bernie now with 3 hits. Infield single to keep it alive for the Yankees here in the 7th.
I don't know if Frank Rodriguez hurt himself on that play coming off the mound. He made a headlong dive trying to come up with the ball. Now watch it as he goes for it, and it eludes his glove. Alex Rodriguez decides the better of throwing the ball, and Bernie Williams, as he goes hard down the line each and every time, will have himself an infield hit. He looked, but held on. When you're hot, you're hot.
And Bernie is hot. 3 more hits tonight. Those 4 hits last night. That's the 4th time that he has done that. Getting 4 hits in a game at Jimmy Leyritz. How's that pitch backing out of play? Leyritz also 2 for 4 tonight. Scored a run. Ball, 1 strike. Leyritz with that somewhat unusual stance. We talked about guys, you know, lifting that front leg. Leyritz has got a stiff front leg and twirls that bat. That's more of a timing mechanism before he sets it prior to swinging.
He really likes the ball out over the plate. A lot of power to the opposite field. But if you hang him a breaking ball or, you know, throw something mediocre on the inner half, gives him a chance to bring the bat through the zone and pull the ball. And when you think back to the World Series in '96, what was it that Mark Wohlers threw him? A hanging slider. And he put it over the wall in left field in Atlanta.
That hanging slider, everybody's still kind of scratching their head wondering why Wohlers threw him a hanging slider. Nevertheless, Leyritz striking out here in the 7th. Yankees, though, have that 11-5 lead. Well, it's the bottom of the 7th here at Safeco. Let's take a look at the game summary brought to you by Honda. It's been all New York so far. Yankees 3 home runs, fueled in that 5-run first. Hernandez, not a good night for him. Only a third of an inning he lasted. Mabry leads it off for the Mariners here in the bottom of the 7th. And the new first baseman, well, not new, but in this game, Tino Martinez. So he takes over for Leyritz. 1 ball, 1 strike count to Mabry. Mabry doubled his last time up, so he's 1 for 3. That sinker ball swung on and missed. That just got it dropped right out of the air. One thing you don't want to do from the hitter's standpoint is try to pull that pitch that's going down the way, especially a left-hander. Then you get him looking outside and leaning out over the plate. You try to sneak one in on the front part of that corner inside.
This guy's a pretty good hitter. Line drive type hitter. Sprays the ball to all fields. Ooh.
Nasty pitch by Mendoza. 1 gone here in the 7th.
Extra nasty. Girardi shifts the target to the inner part of the plate, and that's where he's going to get the ball. Good movement as it tails back in over the corner, and right over the top is John Mabry. Another good look at it. Look at all the movement on this pitch. I mean, that thing just started at his knees and then ended over to the inside corner.
Catcher Dan Wilson. Outside corner for a called strike. Wilson 0 for 2. Right side for Knobloch. So Martinez accepts the throw. There's 2 gone. Shane Monahan will come to the plate for the first time. He replaced Brian Hunter an inning ago in left field. 7 home runs, 28 runs batted in.
Called him up for the minor leagues on July 29th. His first major league home run at Yankee Stadium. Was it last year? Yeah, I believe so. In his first game ever at the stadium.
Tried to pull it. There's Mendoza. So he'll pick it up, put the tag on Monahan. Easy inning for Romero. Strikeout, 2 groundouts. Played 7. Yankees 11. Mariners 5. Well, beautiful look outside of the Kingdom. That's what you're looking at there. We're just across the street here at Safeco. Top of the 8th coming up for the Yankees. Beautiful night here in Seattle. Shane Spencer leads it off. Strike 1 to Spencer. Shane 1 for 4. Spencer, Brocious, Curtis, the scheduled 3 to face Rodriguez. Eastern District High School out of Brooklyn. Frankie Rodriguez. Mabry's been busy at third. Boy, he's got a strong arm too. You can see that. Long, good throw. Spencer is gone. Well, you can see the Yankees and the Twins in a 4-game series that's starting August the 13th through the 16th. And the 13th is Travel Mug Night for fans 21 and over. That's courtesy of Maxwell House on August the 14th. Well, it's Fleet Bank presents Old Timers Day at 2 o'clock. And then the 15th is Beanie Babies Day. And all fans 14 and under will receive a Beanie Baby if you have a ticket from the Millennium Series. So you can get your tickets now. Call Ticketmaster at 212-307-1212. Brocious sends one towards Griffey, and he gloves it. So 2 outs here in the 8th for the Yanks.
Bobby, as I look around the stadium, I'm trying to figure out which of the new ballparks it kind of reminds me of. It's the first time I've been here, and maybe Coors Field in Denver has a dark green look that you see in Camden Yards of the seats. and all the steel painted dark green. And then straightaway center field here, as if we look at the roof, which none of those other parts has. Straightaway center field at Coors Field, where the people sit out here in the bleachers. Straightaway center. At Coors Field, that's called the rock pile. And when the Rockies first came into being, they played over at Mile High Stadium, and the rock pile was actually, you could hardly see the game from up there. It only cost $1 to sit in those seats. But those seats out there are $5.
Curtis hits it hard, but Rodriguez is there. A-Rod throwing him out, so the Yankees are gone. 1, 2, 3 here in the 8th. Mariners coming up, bottom of the 8th, behind by 6. Welcome back to Seattle, Washington at Safeco Field. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Yankees will send in a new pitcher. But before we talk about that, upcoming games, the Mariners tomorrow, 9 o'clock on MSG. And then Sunday, we're back here on Fox 5 at 4:30, and then everybody catching the plane down to Oakland. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 o'clock and a 4 o'clock start here on Fox 5. That's Monday and Tuesday. And then the Yankees finish up this road trip on Wednesday at 10:30 on MSG. Well, Jason Grimsley, the new pitcher for the Yankees. Mendoza with a fine job. Bornegal is the first batter here in the 8th inning, taking over from David Bell last inning. Junior on deck, and then Alex Rodriguez to follow. Well, one sinker baller followed by another sinker baller.
Bobby, you remember when Bornegal was with the Oakland A's, the Yankees could not get this guy out. I mean, he's hitting .304 this year, so he's swinging the bat pretty well here in Seattle. But
the train.
Yeah, I can hear it. There's that Amtrak again. They say it runs all the way from Vancouver all the way down to San Diego.
This train?
Yeah.
Who said that? The engineer? We counted the cars the other night. There were 100 cars on one that went by here.
That had to be a freight train.
Well, Bornegal taps one over to Brocious. High throw, but look at Tito Martinez. No, he was not able to put the tag on Bornegal. It looked like Tino had made a fabulous play at first base.
Well, the ground ball. This is going to be an error. It should be on the throw. Brocious up with it. Had plenty of time. The throw is just offline. There's the tag. But the first base umpire, Doug Eddings, says safe. We're used to seeing Scott Brocious. It looked like an easy routine play. And Bornegal is said to be in there and looked like he was.
First base umpire, he has had some tough calls over at first base tonight. The guy that leads the American League third basemen in fielding throws one away. Chopper up the middle. Pass Knobloch. Bornegal will round second. He'll go to third. So Griffey with a base hit, his third of the night.
Watch the effort by Knobloch on this ball. He goes for it with his bare hand, just trying to flag it down somehow. Keep it in the infield. Bornegal steams over to third, and Griffey has his third hit of the game. And that looked like the sinker that was out of the strike zone. He just hit right on top of it and bounced it through the middle like he was on artificial surface.
You know what? I've been saying it. It looks like that this infield is extremely hard and fast. I know that ball had some topspin on it, but through the infield, it was only about 2 hops and it was gone. So Alex Rodriguez steps in, runners at first and third, nobody out. Mariners will not go quietly, not with this offense that they have. They will put pressure on you. One bad pitch here to Rodriguez, and this could really get interesting. Griffey will take off, and the pitch is fouled back on a play.
They're still being aggressive on the bases despite the fact they're down by 6. You know, one way to have him moving is stay out of the double play. Grimsley is a ground ball pitcher. And I'm not so sure. You know, maybe Lou is saying go ahead, try and get it. If you get a jump, go ahead. You know, Griffey seems to be on his own. He's got 19 steals this year.
Well, 3 guys that can run on this ball club besides Hunter and Rodriguez is Griffey. Time is called. Before the season started, Griffey had one of those now is the time to win attitude. Well hit left field. He'll look up. This ball is gone, and it will get interesting. Rodriguez with his 27th home run. The Mariners with 3 runs here in the 8th inning. It's now 11-8 New York. Still nobody out.
This is a game that's more reminiscent of the Kingdome across the street. A lot of runs scored, a lot of hitting. They brought indoor baseball outdoors at Safeco Field. Yeah, that pitch is up. He just swung on the top of a pitch and fouled it up. Now remember, the error started this all off. The error by Scott Brosius at third kind of set things up. The Mariners have scored 3 times. Look out.
Well, that would appear to be a knockdown pitch, but I'm not so sure it was. It looked like it slipped out of Grimsley's hand. I know the fans reacted to it in not a very favorable manner. And that ball hit him. And now the umpire, Cedarstrom, has thrown Grimsley out of the game, thinking that Grimsley hit Edgar Martinez on purpose. So Grimsley is gone. Cedarstrom, after the second pitch, immediately going out and ejecting Grimsley for intentionally throwing at Edgar Martinez.
You know, when you have nobody out in an inning and a team has just scored 3 runs, what's the sense of putting somebody else on base? You got a 3-run lead. You're trying to get outs at this point of the game. Now, I know he's probably upset that he gave up the home run to Alex Rodriguez. And the first pitch might have been intentionally up and in. But I don't think he hit him on purpose with the next one.
I don't even think the first pitch was an intentional pitch up and in. This is the first pitch here.
Target is towards the middle. The pitch is up and in. And Edgar Martinez, of course, tasting no chances, gets out of the way. And this one, he can't get out of the way. That's running in on the hands and hits him.
So we will have a bit of delay here in the 8th inning. Mariano Rivera is going to be summoned out of this Yankee bullpen, so he will have time to warm up. We'll be back right after this. Very interesting here at Safeco Field. Edgar Martinez was hit by a Jason Grimsley pitch, and the umpire thought it was on purpose, so Grimsley ejected out of this game. Mariano Rivera taking his warm-up tosses. Sellout crowd once again here at Safeco Field. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproductions, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and WNYW Fox 5 is prohibited. Very strange, Ken Singleton. I just can't imagine that Jason Grimsley would do something like that on purpose in this 11-8 Yankee lead. I mean, you don't want to put people on base.
I think that it's frustrating for Joe Torre as he sees Martinez at first. Now, You know, my feeling after giving up the 3-run home run, a little frustrated. Then you can see Martinez looking at those strong biceps there, and you know, probably none the worse for wear. But the fact is, I think the first pitch was up and in, just to kind of move him off the plate, just send a message that, you know, I'm not giving up any more home runs. But I think his arm slot on the next pitch was slated in the same place. The next one ran up and in and hit him.
Well, I think you look at the arm slot, which you bring up, and that's a good point that you bring up. It looked like the arm slot was in the same position in both pitches.
Yep, and so Gary Cederstrom had seen enough and throws him out of the game, although I don't think he hit him on purpose, because you're not putting people on against a talented offensive ball club like the Mariners. And how about Mariano Rivera coming on for 6 outs? We're going to take a look at the 2 pitches once again.
Check the arm slot.
Here's the first one, up and in. And now when I look at it, it looks like he really wasn't trying to do that.
No.
Now here's the arm slot again. And this one hits him. It's lower, but the ball is, you know, he can't get out of the way. It's moving in on him. So Edgar's at first, still nobody out. And Mariano Rivera hasn't been called on very often to get 6-out saves. And I think this is Joe Torre just saying the buck stops here. We're going to go with our best man and try and shut these guys down.
Well, Mariano picks up a save last night, and the Yankees win. First time here at Safeco Field. And Mariano, since Grimsley was ejected, he will get as many warm-up tosses as needed.
He's used to warming up in a hurry and getting ready.
Well, that's the you know, that's one of the traits of the guys out of the bullpen. They have to throw about 8 pitches to be ready to come into a game. So when you have time to warm up, you might as well take it and make sure you're ready. Boy, this game has been a strange game from the very beginning when the Yankees jumped out with a 5-0 lead. That was in the top of the first inning.
And what was even stranger, both teams batted around in the first inning.
Yeah.
The Yankees sent 10 men to the plate, and the Mariners sent 9. And the Mariners answered right back with a 3 spot after the Yankees had scored 5.
The Yankees had 3 home runs in that inning. And the Mariners, as you said, come back batting around in the first inning as Jay Buhner waits on deck. And this game, I'll tell you what, it is not over with.
The thing for Mariano Rivera here, though, Bobby, from this point down in the lineup, Buhner, Ibanez, Mabry, and Wilson, there's only 1 hit. It's been mostly the guys in front of them who've done all the damage.
Well, it's up to Mariano now. As Jay Buhner steps in, Edgar Martinez is on at first base. Buhner's already been plunked by somebody. You can see that big bruise just above the left elbow. He's 0 for 2 tonight. And the first pitch down low and outside.
So this Mariner crowd, who is somewhat silenced for most of the game, starting to come alive, and a lot of people already gone home. A little bit extra on that one.
Mariano's 43rd appearance for the Yankees. Tossed a scoreless 9th inning last night.
Ooh.
Blows that one by Buhner.
Ooh.
Now he's in front 1-2.
Serious heat here. Buhner late on got the big swing and a miss. Nothing fancy.
Well, Mariano will be called upon to do something that's normally not in his expectations, is to record 6 outs for a save. Normally it's 1 batter, 2 batters, no more than 1 inning.
Well, one thing, as he usually does, Bobby, he's throwing strikes. All the top closers, guys who are in charge of closing out ball games, don't mess around very much.
Ooh. He didn't mess around with Buhner. Striking out Buhner for the first out here in the 8th.
Well, this pitch is centered right down the middle, but it has too much for Buhner. 3 similar swings, all threw it and missed.
Mariano only allowing 1 hit out of 12 at-bats versus Buhner. Ibanez will step in. He's 0 for 3.
Another player that was born in New York, born in Manhattan. Grew up in Miami.
Down low, ball 2-2-0. Mariano has that natural ball that just kind of sails in on the left-handed batter and away on the right-handed batter. And then sometimes he just cuts the ball. He has a little cutter that he does on purpose.
There it is right there, running in on the hands of the left-handed hitter. I think with Mariano, his delivery is so smooth and the ball gets up on you so quick, and you don't really expect anybody with a nice, easy, fluid delivery, boom, have that ball come in on your hands. Not quite ready for it. It's like the ball just, he flicks it towards home plate. The ball just fires out of his hand.
Another pitch foul back and out of play. A pitch that Ibanez was waiting for. Counted his favor, 2-1.
It's still late.
Still late. Only getting the bat halfway through the strike zone. Hit hard. Martinez at first. Pissot for 1. Back to Rivera. Not in time. Rivera, we're going to have another argument at first base. I mean, it has been a tough night for Doug Eddings. Now, Tino can't get thrown out of the game. Leyritz is already gone. Soho's in. And immediately, here comes Joe Torre again. He wants to have another conversation with Eddings. Another bang-bang play. Another bang-bang play.
Eddings can't wait till he gets behind the plate. Things will ease off a little bit. He'll be behind the plate tomorrow night. Joe Torre, maybe not. He looks like he's trying to school him over there about calling plays at first. You know, the ball's hit sharply. There's a good chance to get a 3-6-1 here. Tino with an accurate throw to Soho at second. Soho's return. And Mariano, it looked like he had his foot on the bag, but reached to make sure. Let's look at it again. His foot was on the bag, but he reached a second time, and that's why Eddings said he was off. His foot is definitely on the bag, but he reached for it a second time, and that's why the umpire called the runner safe. Here's a good look right here. Mariano reaches. There's the foot on the bag before the runner got there.
Well, Joe, his second trip out to talk to Eddings, and this time Eddings didn't like what he had to say, so Torre has been thrown out of the game.
Well, here's Joe, and you know, having the last few words. That's it.
Yeah, well, he had to say the magic word. I mean, he had to say the magic word, and Eddings sends him to an early shower. Joe Torre, second time that he has been thrown out here in 1999, so he will hand the scorecard to Don Zimmer.
That time he had a legitimate beef because Mariano was not on the bag, then got the foot there before the runner got there. So Joe Torre now, the Yankees have had 4 ejections this year, and Joe Torre now tied with Paul O'Neill.
Well, Mabry, the batter.
Here's another look as Mariano got over to where he gets off the mound and reach for the bag, then gets the foot there before the runner gets there.
Ground ball, Martinez. Mariners are gone. Mariano doing his job, but they come up with 3 runs here at the bottom of the 8th. Top of the 9th coming up, 11-8 New York. Back here at Safeco Field, top of the 9th, Yankees 11, And the Mariners 8 now with that 3-run home run by Rodriguez. Sojo, the first hitter, pops it up right side. Banez in foul territory. 1 pitch, 1 out for the Yankees here in the ninth. Well, let's take a look at the tonight's Red Hot Connection, which occurred in the 4th inning, and it involves Luis Sojo. What a great play he made. Edgar Martinez at the plate. Deep in the hole at short. Gloves it, throws it. Martinez is out. That's our Red Hot Connection for this evening.
Hey, you might be thinking that how come Rodriguez didn't come close to a Yankee hit? Well, when Grimsley was thrown out of the game, both sides are warned. So if Rodriguez, in the judgment of Gary Cederstrom, throws at a Yankee hitter, he's automatically out of the game, along with Lou Piniella.
And you remember that Frankie Rodriguez was the guy that was involved in that Dodger altercation that we showed you here. And Zimmer coming out. That's exactly what Zimmer's going to go out and talk to Cederstrom about. Hey, I thought you warned both benches. And that should be, if it was, an automatic ejection for Frankie Rodriguez. And that's exactly what Zimmer's talking about now. Sure, Zim is saying, how can that be? I mean, you know, you throw my pitcher out and you don't warn the other side that if there is retaliation for what you thought was a pitch or 2 pitches on purpose, how could that be?
He should have warned both sides.
I thought he did.
Well, here comes Lou, and you know, it's automatic for the pitcher and the manager to be gone. But Lou is going to take Frankie Rodriguez out of the game. You know how they end all this stuff? I mean, they let the pitchers hit. I mean, there's enough offense in the game now.
Look at Frankie Rodriguez. Now he wants to challenge the New York Yankee bench, I guess. That's what he did for the Dodgers. And that's what he did against the Dodgers. And Lou will try to restrain him.
I can tell you, the Yankees don't need to be going out on the field, because they're in first place. They don't need anybody hurt.
Well, we got one here. That Curtis and Rodriguez. He's not going to sit down. And now we're going to have the biggest fight you've ever seen in your life. A reminder of what happened against the Dodgers. And they're all going for Rodriguez. That's where everybody's headed, is towards Rodriguez.
Mariners are around him trying to protect.
There comes Curtis. And that's Joe Girardi. And Rodriguez. They're all going to go after Rodriguez. Just hate to see these things happen.
Like I said, you got to let the pitchers hit. You got to let the pitchers hit. There's going to be some ejections down.
Wow, I mean, El Duque is on his way out there now. El Duque left the game only a third of an inning pitch tonight, and you worry about guys like Zimmer. I mean, Zim out trying to do what he can do, which he can't do much, and you don't expect him to. Now Cederstrom, if it was an automatic ejection for Rodriguez, you would say, okay, everything over with.
Yeah, exactly.
And you probably wouldn't have that.
I mean, if he didn't warn both sides and kick out, you know, there's a problem with the umpire. He should have warned both sides if he did not do so. And you wouldn't have had Rodriguez thrown it. So if you did, he's automatically out of the game along with Lou Piniella. Those two guys aren't going to fight. They're probably going somewhere later.
Well, I can see you saw Chad Curtis. He was talking to Cederstrom, and I think Cederstrom has thrown him out of the game. And all Chad was trying to do is just protect himself because Rodriguez charged him.
remember, this is the second game of a 4-game series.
You can better believe that it's not over with. This is the pitch that started it.
Target's inside.
Now watch what Knobloch does. He knows that that is a perfect purpose pitch. He drops the bat, takes off towards first base. Okay, it's all said and done. Yeah, if our guy did it, fine, we'll take it. But Rodriguez would not take it.
Here comes Cedarstrom, and he's telling him something before he gives him the ball
Well,
back.
he should have given him a warning right there. I mean, if he hadn't given him a warning beforehand, it should have been a warning then. And then Rodriguez, he wouldn't have it. He comes right at, Girardi.
Man, I'm surprised more people do not get hurt in these sort of altercations. Look at Shane Spencer.
Well, they're all after Rodriguez.
Here's Curtis.
There comes Girardi. He comes back after him.
Willie Randolph in the middle of it. Leyritz trying to. They all got one target, don't they?
They sure do. And that's the kid from Brooklyn.
And Mesa trying to hold back Jim Leyritz. Edgar Rodriguez trying to get Shane Spencer moving that pile.
Well, with the money that is being made today in baseball, Girardi's not going to go. He's not going to quit. He's coming back for his third shot.
That's Jesse Barfield trying to cool him off.
We may not have enough players to play tonight. I mean, there's already been a whole lot of players that have been in the game and out of the game. Shane is, well, he was in the game. I don't know if he's still in it or not. We haven't gotten any official word on if there was ejections.
This is like a hockey game where the referees are trying to figure out who's out of the game. Jose Mesa is now doing the pitching. Leyritz?
Well, we've got something going on now. Down here, Don Zimmer and Joe Girardi. Joe, I guess, finding out that he has been ejected from the game and he's not going to have it without having his say. He's saying, you're going to eject me. The guy charged me. All I was trying to do was protect myself.
You know what? Whoa.
Well, there goes the gum can.
You know, I think Zimmer is right in being upset with the umpires, and Don Zimmer right now is giving Gary Cedarstrom the word about what happened here. And I think he's telling him it's all your fault for not warning the other side if he didn't do so.
First of all, when you eject a pitcher because you thought that he threw at somebody intentionally, you've got to, when you eject him, you automatically warn the other side.
Yeah.
Just to stay away from what happened here tonight, if nothing else.
So I think Zim is just saying this is your fault if you did not warn that other side. I don't think he did. And originally I said he did because that's what you're supposed to do. So Zim is placing the blame directly on Gary Cedarstrom.
I don't think he's warned them yet. I mean, I haven't seen a sign yet. You can see that Zim's going to have his say. We're going to have to find out who in the heck is in the game and who's out of the game.
Well, if Girardi's out, that means Posada's in, and you can see that Posada's left hand is all taped up. And with Girardi out of the game, who was in the on-deck circle when Knobloch was hit,
I worry about Zim.
Yeah,
I really do.
Well, you know, somebody running him the wrong way, and that knee's already injured.
Well, Posada now motioning towards the Yankee bullpen way out in left field that he needs his catching equipment to be brought in from that area.
Well, for the fans that stayed, they got the Entertainment Plus tonight. Joe's looking for his equipment to take back in the clubhouse.
Gene Monahan, the head trainer, he's just now walking back towards the Yankee dugout. He had been out to talk to Jorge Posada, and I guess to see, are you all right to hit? Now, Posada warming up. Jose Cardinal, he's trying to find out a couple of things of what's going on.
So Knobloch, who is used to being hit by pitches, whether it's intentional or not, just did what he had to do. Just started walking down to first base innocently, and then things got heated up from there.
Yeah, I don't know that you get used to being hit intentionally, but Knobloch knew that was an intentional pitch, what you call as a payback for what happened to Edgar Martinez from Jason Grimsley. And he went trotting down to first base, and it was Frankie Rodriguez who wouldn't have it. He made sure that there was a bench clearing brawl.
17th time that Knobloch's been hit this year. Of course, he led the league last year.
Well, we'll try to stay with you here. This is Jose Mesa. When Rodriguez was taken out of the game by Lou Piniella, he summoned Mesa into the game. So Mesa will now face Posada. There is one out here in the top of the 9th inning, and Knobloch is on at first.
Now, here's something else again. Now the Mariners have to use their closer in a game in which they're down. This is a situation where if the Yankees remain in the lead, Lou Piniella was not going to bring Jose Mesa in this game.
Well, Paniagua is down there along with Paul Abbott. And, of course, the left-hander Sinclair. This could be two. Bornegar. Back to Ibanez. So Posada, that looked like a hurt swing to me. Didn't look like he was able to really turn those wrists over. So this top of the 9th inning is over with. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Stay with us. You never know. New York Yankees baseball on Fox 5 has been brought to you in part by General Motors, the company you count on wherever life takes you. General Motors, people in motion. And by the Thumans. Remember, fans, when it comes to Thumans, they're the deli best. And by American Express, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. And by the people inspired to build vehicles for your mind and heart, Nissan Driven. Well, it all started in the top of the 1st inning, but it's going to end up like this. Frankie Rodriguez charging Joe Girardi at home plate after retaliation on Chuck Knobloch. And then a bench clearing brawl.
Now this is them going back and forth, and they say, come on over here. And I guess he went after the closest Yankee. That's Joe Girardi. And that brought the rest of the Yankees en masse out of the dugout, along with the Seattle Mariners, and it was on.
Well, as big as Stan Williams is, there's nothing he could do. He tried to get Rodriguez out of there.
That's Tom Lampkin, catcher, holding on to Rodriguez. Here comes Girardi again. Then Jim Leyritz. You know, I don't know what players are thinking about sometimes. And yeah, just think back to the Dodger fight we showed just a little while ago, and Rodriguez was in the middle of that. Yeah, that's it.
And 2 Mariners ended up on the disabled list and out for the rest of the year.
And don't you think that would keep you from doing that again? I mean, you're getting guys hurt. This game is not meant to be a macho game. I know it enters into it. You know, Knobloch, he was non-phased by being hit by that pitch. He just went down to first, but it was the challenges after that and the screaming back and forth, which is just natural. You know, guys are going to let somebody get hit even when it's not not intentional. They don't like it.
Well, you know, you and I, we played this game enough. We know that was an intentional pitch. Everybody in the ballpark knew it. Knobloch knew it. He took it. He said, okay, we're even, and then Rodriguez just wouldn't have it. I mean, he wouldn't leave the field.
It had to be a little more.
And Lou even went out and took Rodriguez out of the game to keep from anything happening after that. Wilson leads it off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. That's Dan Wilson. Strike 1 to him. Yankees in front 11-8 over the Mariners. Boy, it has been a wild and woolly game, to say the least. And it all started in the top of the 1st inning when the Yankees scored 5 runs.
Should have known something special was going to happen. It was not your ordinary game.
They hit 3 home runs in the top of the 1st. nary a pitch close to a hitter after that. If somebody was going to nail somebody, that would have been the inning to do it.
Well, it certainly livened up this crowd, sitting on their hands for most of the game.
Well, another capacity crowd, and a lot of them have left because they thought the Mariners just didn't have a chance to come back. But it has become an exciting game.
This is more like a Kingdome game.
Strikeout. Dan Wilson is gone. This has got to be the first fight at the new Safeco Field, right?
No, there's a history of these two teams tangling, though. And Paul O'Neill and John Marzano. That's why Paul O'Neill's always booed when he comes up here. And Lawrence and Randy Johnson. Of course, a lot of guys want to challenge Randy, but the guy's 6'10". He's got the leverage on you.
Shane Monahan pounding the first pitch back and out of play.
Wow. A ball game plus. That looked like hockey, didn't it? To me, it did. All those players in the hockey got them all out on the ice.
Well, to our fans back in New York, it's around 2 o'clock in the morning. And if you're thinking about dozing off, forget it. That bench clearing draw will certainly wake you up as Soho throws out Monahan.
Man.
2 gone for the Mariners here at the bottom of the 9th inning. Last hope coming up. Bornegal is the scheduled hitter. And it looks like Lou Piniella will come up with a pinch hitter, Tom Lampkin.
You know, one thing about the newspapers, I guess the later editions on the East Coast, and there's certainly the newspapers here, there might be some inflammatory language in it that might keep this thing going for the next 2 games here in Seattle. A lot depends on what people say that the other team reads in the newspaper. So that should be interesting.
You got to go back, though, to Jason Grimsley and the 2 pitches to Edgar Martinez when he hit Martinez. And that was after Alex Rodriguez had hit that 3-run home run off of him in the 8th inning. That's where it all started. Now, was that intentional or wasn't? Obviously, Cederstrom thought it was intentional as he immediately ejected Jason Grimsley.
And Grimsley had the look on his face like, what are you talking about? The first pitch, move him off the plate. The second one, I just lost it, you know, and it hit him. But the problem from that point on, not so much with Edgar getting hit. No player likes to get hit. I didn't like it. You didn't like it. But the problem from that point on was with the home plate umpire, Gary Cederstrom. Well, it looks as though he did not warn both sides after throwing Grimsley out of the game. You got to do that just to keep somebody from getting hurt, whether it's in being hit by a pitch or in the ensuing battle on the field.
Mariano in front of Lampkin, no balls and 2 strikes, looking for the last out. You can imagine what's going through Lou Piniella's mind. They had been enjoying a 6-game winning streak, and they lost the game to break the streak before the Yankees came into town, and now they're in danger of going 3 losses in a row. It's going to be 3 losses. Knobloch throws out Lampkin. This game is finally over. The Yankees win it by the score of 11-8 in what we would call a sure slugfest here at Safeco Field. And it all started in the 1st inning and ended in the 9th inning. 28 base hits by both ball clubs, 19 runs. And Mariano Rivera picking up another save, his 2nd consecutive save, one last night, one tonight. Luis Sojo with another big night. Derek Jeter getting the night off because of that soreness around the forearm area, left forearm. Yankees will go back to the clubhouse and enjoy the victory. Once again, the final score, the Yankees 11 and the Mariners 8. Be sure to join us Sunday at 4:30. The Yankees and the Mariners right here on Fox 5 at 4:30. Coming up next is the 10 o'clock news here on Fox 5. Well, it's Chuck Knobloch and his team, Paul O'Neill with a home run in the first inning. Scott Brocious with a 3-run shot. Tino was given the night off until he found himself in the game. Tough job for Doug Eddings. Knobloch, Soho at the shortstop. Derek Jeter liked what he saw. Well, the Yankees, they were just doing it all. Mariano Rivera had to come into the game and record 6 outs for his save tonight. So it's the Yankees 11 and the Mariners 8. So for all of us here on Fox 5, including my partner Ken Singleton, I'm Bobby Mercer. We'll see everybody on Sunday afternoon. Good night.